Chapter 2472. 2472. Only the Dragon Palace's war pet was in the starry sky. It's really starting to fight. Hiss, the Heaven Beast Corporation, the Thousand Beast Hall, and the Heavenly Tiger Sect have mobilized all their forces. There are more than 40 undying godly monarchs. The Heaven Beast Corporation actually sent over 40 undying godly monarchs. These are all their undying godly monarchs, right? That Dragon Palace's war pet is going to suffer. Look at the Dragon Palace battle pet strength. It's not at a disadvantage at all. That Dragon King actually shot down 10 fighter jets. Around a few thousand kilometers or even 10,000 kilometers, the moment the war broke out, everyone left the battlefield. Some people borrowed some equipment to watch the battle ahead, their faces filled with shock as they discussed. Shit. At the same time, over 10,000 kilometers away, a few hundred people from the Eastly Undying Dynasty were standing in a room. In front of them, there was a screen that showed the scene of the battle at the Dragon Palace. The two great ancestors of the Eastly Undying Empire saw the scene and their expressions changed drastically. That Dragon Palace's strength is completely out of our expectations. If that Dragon King is also an undying level 3, we'll be in trouble. One of the great ancestors said solemnly. It depends. If that Dragon King isn't a level 3 undying God King, we can still capture him. If that Dragon King is a level 3 undying God King, we'll hide our identities and attack. Another grand ancestor said with a gloomy face. It couldn't be said that the Heaven Beast Corporation was too useless. The current strength of the Dragon Palace not only surpassed the Heaven Beast Corporation, but also the Eastly Undying God Dynasty. After agreeing to cooperate with the Heaven Beast Organization, the Eastly Immortal Dynasty had also investigated the Dragon Palace's strength. There was only one level 3 Immortal King Warrior. Under such circumstances, they had agreed to cooperate. In their opinion, the Eastly Immortal Dynasty did not even need to make a move to obtain a large amount of treasures. But now, it was completely beyond their expectations. However, the Dragon Palace had almost understood that they were behind the scenes, and they had formed a grudge with the Dragon Palace. If the Dragon King really unleashed his undying level 3 strength, the two of them would be able to completely suppress the Dragon Palace. Even though it's a little out of our expectations, it's still within our control. The two looked at the screen and muttered. HM? That Dragon King doesn't seem to have reached Undying Level 3, his strength is only at Undying Level 2. At this time, one of the Grand Ancestors revealed a look of surprise and joy. It should be Undying Level 2, look at how he's having trouble defending against a few Undying Level 2s. The surrounding crowd looked over, their faces filled with excitement. Hee hee. Upon seeing this scene, the two Grand Ancestors revealed a faint smile on their faces. At this moment, on the battlefield, Wang Xian was struggling to fend off the attacks of the 3 Immortal King Level 2 Immortal Kings. He kept retreating backward. Restrain his other subordinates. Everyone, surround and attack him. Capture him. Capture him. About 2,000 kilometers in the sky, the chairman of the Heaven Beast Group, the leader of the 10,000 Beast Hall, the leader of the Heaven Tiger Sect, and Grandmaster Palea Beast had no choice but to fight in the sky. When they saw the suppressed Dragon King, they were extremely excited. That Dragon King was not at level 3 Immortal Godly King as they had imagined. In that case, victory would belong to them. Yes. Below, a group of forces and more than 30 Immortal King were attacking Wang Xian at the same time. Their eyes were filled with excitement. Once they captured the Dragon King, they would definitely soar in the future. They could even step into the central region of the Imperial Star Field. Around them, the more than 10,000 Eternal God Master disciples who were prepared to deal with the battle pets in the square saw this scene and their faces were filled with excitement. This was their battle to rise up. Shit, that Dragon King is going to be in trouble. It's over, the Dragon King is going to be done for. Once the Dragon Palace is destroyed, it won't be good for us to buy battle pets in the future. Indeed, I still hope that the Dragon King and the rest can defend against the other party's attack. However, it's a pity that the other party's strength is too terrifying. It's already very terrifying that the Dragon Palace has 3 undying level 3 warriors. What can we do? Around them, seeing the Dragon King at a disadvantage, everyone shook their heads. They really didn't wish for the Dragon King and the Dragon Palace to be destroyed. This guy, he's really crafty. He clearly has undying level 3 strength, yet he's hiding it. Does he want to suddenly kill 1 or 2 of them? However, in space, Emperor Star Lady looked at the battle pet in front of her and said speechlessly, "Hee, young lady, the Dragon King is very smart." He ordered his subordinates to lure away 3 level 3 Immortal King Realm experts so that he could capture them all in one fell swoop. Aunt Ing smiled and said from the side, "This guy is so evil. However, he actually has 3 level 3 Immortal King Realm experts under him. What a surprise. He seems to have many experts under him." Di Xingnu curled her lips and said. Auntie Ing, who was at the side, smiled and looked at Wang Xian with a twinkle in her eyes. The longer she knew him, the more shocked she was. Hee. At this moment, Wang Xian, who had been suppressed on the battlefield, revealed a sly smile. Just now, he deliberately hid his strength and waited for Ao He and the rest to lure the 4 level 3 Immortal King level experts away, in order to capture all of them in one fell swoop. No one knew his strength. Even though he had fought with the Iron Blood Alliance before, they rarely had any contact with the outside world. Just like the Tianzhe continent and Star Source planet, they prohibited AI over there to prevent elite warriors from migrating to other planets. Hence, the Heavenly Beast group did not know their strength. It's about time. Although we can't kill a level 3 Immortal King, none of you can escape. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled. With a move of his arm, the 5 elements millstone appeared in his hand. Kill, trap him first and use the trapping formation. At this moment, the more than 30 Immortal Kings in front of them didn't realize that danger was coming. They shouted excitedly, "Wang!" At this time, the 5 elements millstone flew into the sky and the black hole disturbance array instantly covered a radius of over 3,000 kilometers, perfectly avoiding the 4 level 3 undying godly monarchs like the chairman of the Heaven Beast Corporation. The sudden blocking array caused everyone to be slightly stunned. Even the 4 undying godly monarchs a few thousand km away were extremely shocked. After noticing the Dragon King's strength, they had even purposely led Ao Xie and the others further away to prevent them from returning to help the Dragon King. The formation that suddenly rose made them have a bad feeling. HM? What? Within the black hole disturbing space, everyone was shocked to see themselves within the special formation. Chapter 2473. 2473. In 2473, there was only the Dragon Palace's war pet in the starry sky. What's going on? Why is there a huge protective array formation all of a sudden? This array formation seems to have been released by the Dragon King. What's going on? Does the Dragon King still have a trump card? In the distance, everyone was slightly shocked when they saw this scene, and their faces were filled with shock. The Dragon King, who had been suppressed all this time, suddenly released an array formation. What was going on? Damn it, could it be that the Dragon King still has some tricks up his sleeve? The chairman of the Heavenly Beast Group, the Hall Master of the Thousand Beast Hall, the Sect Master of the Heavenly Tiger Sect, and Grandmaster Palea Beast all looked over at the array formation with unsightly expressions. "You guys hold them off, I'll go break the array formation." Grandmaster Palea Beast growled and said to the other 3, "All right, break the array formation as soon as possible. Don't let the Dragon King use any tricks." The other 3 nodded gloomily. "Get lost." The 3 of them stared at Ao He and the other 2. An incomparably violent might surged from their bodies, and terrifying laws shattered the void. Boom, boom, boom. The 3 of them tangled with Ao He and the others, and Grandmaster Palea Beast wanted to fly towards the formation. However, at this moment, A terrifying devouring dragon head surged out from Aohe's body once again. His ice-cold eyes stared at Grandmaster Palea Beast, and he let out a roar. What? There's a fourth one. At this moment, the 4 chairmen of the Heavenly Beast Corporation were shocked, and their faces instantly became extremely ugly. A terrifying thought appeared in their minds. The Dragon Palace had been hiding their strength all this time. They were deliberately showing their weakness to the enemy. At the thought of this, their hearts sank, and their expressions changed as they looked toward the position of the array formation. Aohe and the others' roars woke up the 4 people who had ugly expressions on their faces. Kill! They gritted their teeth and looked at each other. When they saw Aohe and the others coming at them, they roared. 4 against 4. When faced with Aohe and the others' violent and unmarked attacks, it was very difficult for them to escape. What is he trying to do? At this moment, inside the array formation that was disturbed by the black hole, all the disciples and powerhouses of the Heaven Beast Corporation's Thousand Beast Hall and other factions were somewhat dumbfounded. Why did the Dragon King, who had been on the losing end, suddenly cast an array formation to surround them in this strange space? Be careful. A level 2 Undying God King scanned his surroundings warily, speaking to the other 30 or so Undying God Kings. Everyone nodded slowly, carefully sizing up their surroundings, not daring to attack rashly. This is below. Invincible Battle Technique, who was also enveloped by the array formation, had a shocked expression on his face. His gaze swept across his surroundings, and his eyes flickered with a luster. What a bluff! The few of you, follow me and destroy that fellow. Right at this moment, Du Ziyu's voice sounded from a position not far away. He extended his hand and pointed at the exceptionally eye-catching Invincible Battle Technique in the middle of the square. It's young Master Du. Immediately, dozens of middle-aged youths heard Du Ziyu's order. They warily glanced at the sky and flew towards Invincible Battle Technique's position. Invincible Battle Technique was slightly stunned when he saw someone coming towards him. Then he narrowed his eyes. Du Ziyu, it's you, you dog. Invincible Battle Technique stared at Du Ziyu and the others with a cold look in his eyes. Today is the day you die, Invincible Warrior. Arrogance has a price to pay. Du Ziyu stared coldly at him. Even though the Dragon King had created this strange space, there were over 30 Undyings on their side. The Dragon King wouldn't be able to escape today. Even Invincible Warrior had to die. Even without the Divine Sun's orders, he wouldn't let this arrogant guy go. Kill him. I don't want him to live another second. Du Ziyu ordered the surrounding experts. It's young Master Du. The dozens of experts nodded and immediately attacked Invincible Battle Technique. The powerful energy sealed all the space around Invincible Battle Technique. Hee, you trash want to attack me? Today, I'll let you see the power of my Invincible Battle Technique. Invincible Battle Technique narrowed his eyes and stared at the incoming attacks. Roar! In the next moment, an enormous battle pet appeared in front of him. As soon as the battle pet appeared, it waved its claws and the attacks instantly collapsed. Meanwhile, condensed laws flew out from the claws and attacked everyone who attacked Invincible Battle Technique. Poo poo poo. In an instant, the figures around Du Ziyu all vanished, not even ashes left. What this is? At this moment, Du Ziyu's eyes were wide open, his face filled with disbelief, his body couldn't help but tremble. How could this be? This was an Undying Emperor battle pet. Haha, killing me invincible in battle? I have an Undying level 2 warrior pet that Boss Wang gave me, you still want to kill me? Seeing Du Ziyu's face filled with disbelief and shock, Invincible couldn't help but laugh madly. Invincible in battle, invincible in the world. Following which, his body moved, landing directly on the pet, raising his head proudly and announcing proudly. Not good. What happened here was only within 10 seconds. In the air, Over 30 Undying Emperor warriors felt the power of the battle pet below. They immediately looked over. It's a bluff, don't waste time, with our strength, we don't need to worry, capture that Dragon King. An Undying level 2 old man couldn't help but say. Although this space was strange, there were so many of them. It was still very easy for them to capture the Dragon King. Hee hee. Wang Xian stared at them with a mocking smile on his face. Invincible in battle techniques. I'll leave the disciples below Immortal King to you. He looked down and spoke to Invincible in battle techniques. Hee hee, Boss Wang, don't worry. Don't leave a single one alive. Invincible battle technique stood on top of the battle pet and immediately roared. Since that's the case, all of you can go to hell. Wang Xian raised his head and looked around as he roared in a low voice. Arrogant. More than 30 powerhouses were furious. Hiss. All of a sudden, a towering figure appeared beneath Wang Xian. It had a huge triangular snake head and a 10,000-meter-long body. It was filled with cold-bloodedness and savagery. Oh no, this is the level 3 battle pet of the Immortal King? The sudden appearance of the towering snake caused everyone to be slightly shocked. Their expressions changed drastically as they roared warily. Kill! Before they could react, Wang Xian's cold roar rang out. He had been concealing his strength all this while just to wait for this opportunity. This was the opportunity to capture all the powerhouses and disciples of the Heaven Beast Corporation in one fell swoop. Hiss. The towering snake instantly launched a terrifying attack. At this moment, Wang Xian also unleashed the strength of a level 3 Immortal King. The terrifying dragon claw directly clawed at a level 2 Immortal King powerhouse in front of him. Oh no, everyone, block that battle pet. The expressions of more than 30 Immortal King powerhouses changed slightly as they immediately shouted in alarm. Bang bang bang. They immediately unleashed their all-out attack towards the towering snake. Let me tie down the Dragon King. The Immortal King level 2 powerhouse who was locked onto by Wang Xian had a serious expression. He was holding a fiery red glove in his hand as he faced Wang Xian's dragon claw. Bang! However, just as he finished his sentence, when he collided with the dragon claw, his entire body was sent flying backward. Chapter 2474. 2474. There was only the Dragon Palace in this space. Pooh! Huge mouthfuls of blood spewed out from his mouth. The 10,000 Beast Hall Undying Level 2 stared wide-eyed, his eyes filled with shock. What was going on? The Dragon Emperor that they had been suppressing, how could he unleash such terrifying strength? No, he's an Undying Level 3 warrior. The Dragon King is also an Undying Level 3 warrior. He opened his eyes wide and roared in fear. Beside him, over 30 Undying Emperors were blocking the snake's attack. Hearing this roar, they looked over in shock. When they saw this Undying Level 2 warrior flying out, spitting out blood, his face pale and terrified, his body trembled. Not good, something's happened. An old man muttered. 2 Level 3 Immortal King powerhouses, even if they had more than 30 Immortal Kings, were not enough for the other party to kill them. Furthermore, the Dragon King and the rest could easily kill everyone present. Hee hee, you guys want to destroy me? You want to destroy my Dragon Palace too? You're courting death. Wang Xian looked at everyone above and moved his body to attack them. Damn it, this Dragon King and his war pet are not something we can fight against. Run now. An old man could not help but roar. An Immortal King level 3, they might be able to hold on for a minute or two. However, with the Dragon King, they had no way to defend. Everyone, run back to the God Country. He roared and his voice resounded in everyone's ears. Go! Everyone's expressions were extremely ugly. This time, the matter of capturing the Dragon King and destroying the Dragon Palace's war pet was completely ruined. Everyone's bodies trembled slightly and they wanted to leave. What? I can't sense my own undying God Country. I can't go back. Shit, I can't go back either. I can't go back to my own god country either. What happened? What happened? However, very quickly, a series of terrified voices rang out. All the disciples and powerhouses from the Heavenly Beast Hall, Heavenly Tiger Sect, and other factions of the Heavenly Beast Corporation realized that they could no longer sense their own divine kingdom. Haha, Boss Wang deliberately hid his strength to play with you. Do you think you can leave this place today? This space outside of you is just a decoration? You guys, congratulations on making the choice to die. At this moment, Invincible's excited and arrogant voice rang out. He stood on top of the level 2 battle pet of the Immortal King and looked at everyone mockingly. Hiss. Purng. At the same time, the towering snake attacked the terrified Immortal King in front of him. Wang Xian followed closely behind. The strength of a level 3 Immortal King was completely unleashed. Defend. The pupils of the dozens of people who were covered by the towering snake and Wang Xian constricted as they roared in horror. Bang! 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 However, very soon, Wang Xian's terrifying dragon claws and the destructive attack of the towering snake landed on them. Screams of pain rang out very quickly. The bodies of the dozens of people cracked open slowly. Under the suppression of their powerful strength, they could not withstand it at all. What they were facing was destruction. No! Below, all the Eternal God Lord disciples who saw this scene were shocked. Their faces were filled with fear. Prepare to die. Invincible looked over, roaring madly, ordering the Undying King level 2 below to attack the 10,000 Eternal God Lords. Howl, howl, howl. Help, my lords, help. Deputy Leader, save us. Grandfather, save me. The roar of the undying warpet resounded. All the eternal gods were filled with despair, hurriedly calling for help. However, above, they were all screaming in despair. The group of undyings were being slaughtered. How could they have time to save them? Die! Invincible roared coldly. The undying warpet released a law flame. The flame swept, and instantly half of them were destroyed. Undying killing an eternal God Lord, it was too easy. No, break the formation, we have to break it. In the sky, some Immortal King powerhouses saw the scene and almost burst into tears as they roared. They flew crazily towards the edge of the formation. However, their speed was far inferior to that of Wang Xian and the towering snake. Soon, screams of pain rang out, followed by a complete silence in the sky. Du Ziyu, I left you at the end and let you live for a few more seconds. How about it? Can you tell me how you feel now? Over 30 undying emperors had fallen. Below, there were only 2 people on the ground. One was invincible in battle, the other was Du Ziyu. At this time, Invincible looked down at him, his expression filled with mockery. Du Ziyu's face was pale, his lips purple and trembling. He looked up at the sky, his eyes filled with despair. Under the astonished gaze of Invincible battle technique, he knelt on the ground. Let me go, Du Ziyu said with a face full of fear. His eyes were filled with despair. TSK, all right. Go to hell. Invincible battle technique shook his head. His face was full of smiles as he waved his arm. A terrifying force landed on his body, causing him to fly backward. Boss Wang, it's done. He raised his head and opened his mouth to speak to Wang Xian. Okay. Wang Xian smiled and scanned his surroundings. There were corpses all over the ground. He did not store them into his interspatial ring for the time being. He needed to intimidate and announce it at the same time. Wang Xian waved his arm and the black hole disturbing the air formation dissipated slowly. He also kept the towering snake. Look, the formation is dissipating, it's dissipating. How can it be so fast? It hasn't even been 2 minutes and the formation has already disappeared. What exactly happened inside? I don't know, but we will know soon. When the black hole disturbing formation slowly dissipated, the eyes of tens of millions of people who were watching from the outside were fixed on it. In the sky, the chairman of the Heavenly Beast Group, the master of the Heavenly Tiger Sect and the Grandmaster Palea Beast Sect, who were fighting, also paused and swept over. Buzz. That's the Dragon King. The Dragon King is still alive. Look around, look at the surrounding ground, oh my God. Soon, the formation completely dissipated, and the scene in the middle of the square appeared in everyone's sight. A young man was floating in the air, and that was the Dragon King. In front of the Dragon King was the Dragon King's underling. As for who it wasn't very important. And what shocked them the most was the corpses that littered the surroundings. There were more than 10,000 corpses, and those were the experts and disciples of the Heavenly Beast Corporation. Chapter 2475. 2475 2,475 strength was enough to shake the entire star area. Hiss. Tens of millions of people around sucked in a breath of cold air as they looked over in shock. The Heaven Beast Organization, the Thousand Beast Hall, the Heaven Tiger Sect, and all the other powers are finished. An undying God King looked at this scene as he muttered, his face filled with shock. There are close to 40 undying godly monarchs here. It's been a long, long time since so many undying godly monarchs have fallen in our region. Godly monarchs are undying. With 1,000,000 years of lifespan, they can guard a planet. The others trembled as they muttered. No! A crazy roar came from the Heavenly Beast Corporation's chairman. In the sky, his blood-red eyes were filled with disbelief as he looked in the direction of the plaza. His eyes were about to crack. More than 10,000 corpses were the foundation and elites of all their factions. Especially the nearly 40 undying godly monarchs. They were the pillars of their factions. Now, all of their undying godly monarchs had been destroyed. This represented the end of their faction. In this starry sky, only the war pets of the Dragon Palace are traitors. They are courting death. Wang Xian floated in the sky above the square and looked at the position of the 4 chairmen of the Heaven Beast Group. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly as he said coldly, "Dragon King." The leader of the Heavenly Tiger Sect roared at Wang Xian with bloodshot eyes. Hee. Wang Xian stared at him with a mocking look in his eyes. This is the end. He pointed at the corpse below and said coldly. This was the end for those who wanted to destroy the Dragon Palace. In this starry sky, only the battle pets of the Dragon Palace exist. Everyone around looked ahead and mumbled softly. From now on, there would only be the battle pets of the Dragon Palace in this starry sky. The other beast-taming Grandmaster powers were all destroyed. Dragon King, just you wait, we will definitely take our revenge, we will definitely take our revenge. The leader of the Thousand Beast Hall clenched his fists and roared crazily. Trash, you only know how to talk, don't run if you have the guts. Invincible battle technique stood on the level 2 undying God King battle pet, feeling high and mighty, he looked at him with disdain. You. The myriad beast hall leader's expression changed drastically, changing constantly. How to fight? All the experts and disciples were killed, leaving only the leaders of the 4 factions. The other party's strength was now much stronger than theirs. Fight, they couldn't win. What else could they do now? They could only escape. This made the Heavenly Beast Corporation's chairman and the rest clench their fists, fresh blood seeping out from their palms. They were indignant, furious, and violent. Ao Crab and the rest stared coldly at the 4 of them from the Heaven Beast Corporation. They did not continue to attack. After they transformed into their human forms, they stared at them with disdain. The entire devouring dragon had yet to make a full move. There were still 2 Immortal King Level 3 Immortal King level combat strength left. As he was not confident that he could keep the 4 of them here, Wang Xian deliberately hid some of his strength. Dragon King, just you wait. If I don't take revenge for this, I will not be able to live. The chairman of the Heaven Beast Corporation and the rest trembled for a moment. Then, they let out a maniacal roar and slowly disappeared. Aohe, go to their base immediately and collect all the treasures and finances. If there is any resistance, kill them immediately. Wang Xian saw them leaving and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. He immediately gave an order to Ao Crab and the rest. It's the Dragon King. Ao Crab nodded immediately and left quickly. But Wang Xian looked at the corpses below. With a wave of his arm, he kept all of them into his interspatial ring. He scanned his surroundings and finally raised his head. He looked at a satellite with a smile on his face. Damn it, how can the strength of the Dragon Palace be so strong? At the same time, in a room not far away, the Eastly Immortal Dynasty saw Wang Xian's meaningful smile. The two grand ancestors could not help but growl in a low voice. All of them stared at the scene in the screen with an extremely ugly expression. Did the Dragon King do this on purpose? Or, when the Dragon Palace had another undying level 3 warrior, they had a bad feeling. And now it had happened. The Dragon Palace had at least 5 undying level 3 warriors, and the entire Eastly Undying Dynasty only had 5. Unless the Lord of the Eastly Dynasty made a move, otherwise, they might not even be a match for the Dragon Palace. And the pillar of the Immortal Dynasty was cultivating in seclusion. He didn't know about this. They didn't tell that lord at all, because from their point of view, the Heavenly Beast Group had a 100% chance of destroying the Dragon Palace's war pet. Even if they couldn't destroy it, it wouldn't affect them. After all, they didn't make a move, but now, not only did the Heavenly Beast Group fail, they were almost destroyed. The 5 level 3 Immortal King level powerhouses from the Dragon Palace had also posed a threat to the Eastly Celestial Empire. This made them extremely embarrassed. Now, even if the two of them helped the Heaven Beast Corporation together, they would not be able to deal with the Dragon Palace. Furthermore, the Dragon Palace would become a huge threat to them in the future. The people from the Eastly Immortal Empire looked at each other with worried expressions. Their faces were extremely gloomy. Let's go. At this moment, at the square, Wang Xian retracted his gaze and spoke to Invincible battle technique. His body moved and he immediately flew towards the teleportation formation. Next, he had to prepare to raise the strength of the Dragon Palace. For this battle, the Eastly Immortal Dynasty did not send anyone over. However, he was 100% sure that they were involved. However, they had misjudged the strength of the Dragon Palace. The Eastly Immortal Dynasty had a level 4 Immortal King. Therefore, what Wang Xian had to do next was to increase the number of level 4 Immortal King experts in the Dragon Palace. Since you guys are involved, this enmity has already been formed. I don't like to keep defending passively. Wang Xian's eyes were cold. Since the other party wanted to destroy the Dragon Palace, he didn't need to wait for the other party to attack him. As long as the strength of the Dragon Palace increased this time, we would be ready to play with the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. This time, it would be very, very fast. In Wang Xian's eyes, today's battle was just an appetizer. What came next was the real battle. The Dragon King and the rest have left. I didn't expect it to end like this. The Heaven Beast Corporation, the Heaven Tiger Sect, and the 1000 Beast Hall are completely finished. The Dragon King and the Dragon Palace are simply too powerful. Oh right, the Dragon King looks so young. How old is he now? The Dragon King is too handsome, isn't he? The victory of the Dragon Palace's war pet will also bring us great benefits. We will support the Dragon Palace's war pet. Seeing Wang Xian leave, some people in the surroundings began to discuss animatedly. Chapter 2476 2476 2470 SIXS strength shook the entire starfield. This guy is really cunning. In the end, he still hid his strength. In a void space far away from the plaza, Emperor Star Lady pouted as she watched Wang Xian's disappearing figure. Everyone thought that the Dragon Palace had 5 undying godly monarchs. However, she knew that there was still an undying level 3 space beast that had yet to be revealed. Although this space beast was hers, that bastard said that he would give it to her 2 years later. The strength of the space beast was equivalent to 2 of the same level. If she thought that this was the limit of the Dragon Palace, she would definitely be tricked to death by him. This Dragon King is pretty good. It's very wise to never let others know of his trump card. Aunt Ing was very attracted to Wang Xian as she exclaimed in admiration. Aunt Ing, why are you an outsider now? You're speaking up for an outsider. The Imperial Star Lady said unhappily. I'm speaking the truth. Aunt Ing smiled and disappeared slowly with the Imperial Star Lady. On the East Pool planet, although the battle at the Dragon Palace's Battle Pet Mall had ended, it had caused a huge commotion. Although the battle had ended, the topic had just begun to spread. All the Beast Tamer Grandmasters and pet forces in our galaxy are not as powerful as the Dragon Palace combined. The Dragon Palace is so terrifying. Their value is too high. With the current strength of the Dragon Palace's pets, they can definitely be ranked in the top 3 in our galaxy. 100% can be placed in the top 3. Today's battle has laid the foundation of the Dragon Palace. Who would dare to mess with the Dragon Palace in the future? The destruction of a group of 4th or 5th-rate forces, the fall of close to 40 undyings, it has laid the foundation of the Dragon Palace's strength. The Dragon Palace has completely risen, shocking the entire region. After the battle ended, everyone was shocked by the Dragon Palace's strength. This battle allowed the Dragon Palace to enter the top 3 forces in this region. However, other than the strength of the Dragon Palace, there was another thing that shocked everyone. Why didn't the Eastly Immortal Dynasty come out to stop the Heavenly Beast Group's attack on the Dragon Palace? There was no sign of the Eastly Immortal Dynasty at all. This made many people speculate. With the technology of the East Lake planet and the satellite positioning, the moment there was a battle, at most a minute, the experts of the Eastly Undying Empire would be able to rush over. However, the Eastly Undying Empire didn't appear even after the battle ended. Not only did the Eastly Undying Empire not appear at the start, the Eastly Undying Empire bought 13 Undying God King War pets and didn't let them tame them and took them away. The Heaven Beast Corporation bought 10 and took them away. Isn't that clear? They bought them immediately on purpose to prepare for the upcoming battle. Someone pointed out the crux of the problem. The moment this information was released, everyone could basically confirm that the battle this time had obtained the tacit approval of the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. No one knew if the Eastly Immortal Dynasty had even made a move in secret. However, some people guessed that the 10 warplanes were sent out by the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. Because these fighter jets were able to contend against a level 1 Immortal God King, it was impossible for a bunch of battle pets to buy them, nor did they have the ability to buy 10 of them directly. It was very likely that the Eastly Immortal Dynasty had sent them over. When this matter was revealed, it caused quite a stir. There's some trouble now. That Dragon Palace should already know that we're secretly helping the Heaven Beast Corporation. So what if they know? Do they dare to be our enemy? Humph, our Eastly Immortal Dynasty is not afraid of them. They might not be too afraid of us, unless our Imperial ancestor makes a move. In a week not far from the East Lake planet, dozens of figures were standing on both sides of the splendid shrine, talking non-stop. In the center of the throne sat a majestic old man. He closed his eyes slightly, listening to the discussions below. Where is the chairman of the Heavenly Beast Group, the leader of the Heavenly Tiger Sect, the leader of the 1,000 Beast Hall and the 100 Beast Grandmaster? When the voices in the shrine quieted down, the old man slowly opened his eyes and asked. Reporting to the Emperor God, the 4 chairmen of the Heavenly Beast Group are now together, discussing about revenge. A minister immediately cupped his hands and said, "Ask them if they are willing to join our Eastly Immortal Dynasty." The Emperor God said indifferently, "Emperor God, you can't. Once we recruit the 4 of them, the Dragon Palace will become our enemy." "Lord Lu, they are already enemies with the Dragon Palace. Although the Heaven Beast Corporation's disciples have all been destroyed and their foundations have been destroyed, the 4 of them are level 3 immortal king warriors and beast tamers. Furthermore, they have 10 immortal king war pets in their hands. If we recruit them, our strength will greatly increase. So what if it's the Dragon Palace? A minister immediately tried to stop him, but he was quickly refuted by the minister beside him. Father, I think we can settle the 4 of them first, and then look at the attitude of the Dragon Palace. If the Dragon Palace has a tendency towards us, we can recruit them. At this moment, a middle-aged man walked up and said respectfully, "Do as I tell you. It's just a Dragon Palace." The emperor on the dragon throne glanced at everyone below and waved his hand. Then he disappeared instantly. Several ministers frowned. The crown prince also frowned. The Dragon Palace's war pets are worthy of our help. On the right, at the first position, an official said, turning to leave. The Dragon Palace's strength was enough to make them take it seriously, making them slightly wary. If possible, they weren't willing to fight with the Dragon Palace. This wouldn't be of much benefit to them. However, if they could capture the Dragon King and destroy the Dragon Palace, this would be a huge opportunity for the Eastly Undying Dynasty. Sometimes they had to take risks. The Eastly Immortal Empire also wanted to step into the more prosperous central region and not stay in such a remote place. The Dragon Palace's war pets were an opportunity. Dragon King, we went to the territory of the Heaven Beast Corporation in time and obtained a lot of things. Moreover, we have already suppressed the dozens of planets. Our Dragon Palace can directly enter the ocean of those planets. At the same time, in the Dragon Palace located on the Tianzi continent, Ao He and the rest returned and spoke to Wang Xian with smiles on their faces. Very good. Absorb all the resources that can be absorbed immediately. Have you found the immortal divine kingdom? Those that haven't, follow me to look for them immediately. Also, this time around, Ao He, your strength should be able to increase once. Ao Qitian, you should also be able to increase once. Use up all the resources and do your best to increase the strength of our Dragon Palace. Upon hearing the reports from Ao Crab and the rest, Wang Xian ordered with a smile on his face. Chapter 2477 2477 Dragon Palace Upgrade. The Heaven Beast Corporation, the Thousand Beast Hall, the Heavenly Tiger Sect, and Grandmaster Palea Beast were the 4 overlords of war pets in this region. Along with the other small factions, they had a huge amount of resources. However, because the leaders of the 4 big factions weren't killed, they had a lot less resources. Even so, the Dragon Palace still obtained a lot of resources this time, especially the various fixed assets. After selling them, they would be able to obtain quite a number of God stones. Apart from that, there were also over a dozen planets. In the following period of time, Wang Xian brought Ao He and the rest to search for the immortal God countries. With the corpses around, it wasn't too difficult to search through the array formation. The Dragon Palace spent over a dozen days to build the Dragon Palace in the ocean of these dozen planets. They sold all the fixed assets of the various powers and used them all to buy pills. Dragon King, the immortal kingdoms with 9 attributes have been gathered. All the God stones have been used to buy elixirs. 15 days later, Prime Minister Gui walked over with a smile on his face and reported to Wang Xian. All right, let's raise the level of the Dragon Palace first and raise the strength of the members of the Dragon Palace. He squinted his eyes and stood up immediately. Ding. Do you wish to devour metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, and darkness, immortal king, to advance to the Dragon Palace? Wang Xian stood in front of the dragon throne as the system's voice rang out. Devour, upgrade. He immediately gave the order. Buzz. Crack, crack, crack. The next moment, the entire Dragon Palace trembled as 9 colored laws gradually enveloped the entire Dragon Palace. At the same time, the area of the Dragon Palace expanded at a terrifying speed. The Dragon Palace, which was originally 1,000 kilometers in circumference, was now 10,000 kilometers in circumference. It was located in the underground sea and was emitting a 9-colored luster. In the Dragon Palace, all the members of the Dragon Palace looked around with joy. Dragon Palace, Level 8. Dragon Master, Wang Xian, Eternal God Lord Level 7 Yin-Yang 5 Elemental Divine Dragon. Buildings. Dragon King Hall, Level 8, increases the cultivation speed and recovery speed of the Dragon King by 768 times. Dragon Transformation Pool, Level 8, absorbing dragon blood can give birth to a dragon seed, origin, 15324555. Dragon Gate, Level 8, a fish can only become a dragon after leaping through the Dragon Gate, effective against creatures below Void God Emperor. Sea Pacifying Divine Needle, Level 8, Dragon Palace Pillar, pacifying 80,000 kilometers of the Dragon Palace, increasing the combat strength of the members of the Dragon Palace by 1,000%. Dragon Cave, Level 8 with 10 million Dragon Caves, the cultivation speed of the creatures in the Dragon Cave will increase by 512 times. Dragon Field, Level 8, practice martial arts in the Dragon Field, increase comprehension by 256 times. Dragon Array, Level 8, Dragon Palace Array, concealment, defense, gathering of spiritual energy, wormhole, detection, attack. Spiritual items. Ancestral Tree. Level, able to return the soul of creatures below Eternal Lord level. Activate the spiritual intelligence of creatures. Increase 400% of the speed of fire attribute cultivators. 400% of the speed of wood attribute cultivators. 400% of the speed of lightning attribute cultivators. Fizz. Dragon Transformation Pool breeding dragon species. Current dragon species, golden swordfish, thunder shrimp, demon monkey, strange demon, light spike, hydra, dragon turtle, yaksha, clam girl, golden lobster, starwood dragon species, fire phoenix dragon species. Current top-tier dragon species of the Dragon Palace, arrow dragon species, spike dragon species, mad dragon species, starwood dragon species, golden swordfish dragon species. Special buildings. Dragon Nest, devouring dragon, none. Devouring dragon. It consumes energy to create its own insect species. The mother insect feeds on all kinds of metal materials. An extremely terrifying power of laws filled the entire Dragon Palace. Now, an ordinary person was placed here and allowed to cultivate slowly. In a year's time, he would be able to cultivate to the godly state. In a dozen to 20 years, he would be able to advance to the level of the Eternal Lord. This was the power and terror of the Dragon Palace now. This time, the improvement of the Dragon Palace is much faster than before. Wang Xian revealed a smile on his face. Last time, he was only upgraded after he reached the level of an Eternal God Lord. This time, before he reached the level of an immortal king, the Dragon Palace had already been upgraded. A level 8 Dragon Palace could already be hidden in the Void Crack. However, it was different from an ordinary immortal god country. If the Dragon Palace hid within the space fissure, it would form an ocean within. An undying country, the size of the space within the space fissure, one could see the strength of an undying country. The strength of the Dragon Palace was definitely not something a normal undying country could compare to. The attributes of the Dragon Palace had doubled, and there was one more pinnacle dragon. This represented the limit of the Dragon Palace. There were a total of 5 of them. 3 of them were dragon species that had existed in the Dragon Palace in the past. The other 3 starwood dragon species were due to the ancestral tree. The golden swordfish dragon species were also known as the Dragon Guards. Currently, the Dragon Guards could only fight 2 levels above them. The reason why they were classified as peak-level dragon species was due to their potential. They also possessed great potential. The ancestral tree had now become a towering tree. It was at least 2,000 meters tall with luxuriant branches and leaves. It emitted a holy radiance that enveloped the dragon throne. This caused Wang Xian to sit at the bottom of the throne. It was filled with mystery and divine radiance. The level of the ancestral tree was still a question mark. Even with Wang Xian's current strength, he could not detect it. According to Wang Xian's estimation, an existence like the ancestral tree was the top holy item in the universe. After all, it was because of the ancestral tree that the Starwood Dragon seed was born. All members of the Dragon Palace, gather immediately. Wang Xian immediately gave an order. The number of members of the Dragon Palace had already reached 170,000. This was not counting Aohe's subordinates. Aohe's devouring dragon had already reached 100,000. All of them were at the level of the Eternal Lord. It was extremely terrifying. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Soon, more than 100,000 members of the Dragon Palace gathered in the Dragon Field. Every single one of them was exuding a powerful aura. Wang Xian swept his gaze across and smiled. The Dragon Palace had already reached 170,000 members. Every single one of them could be considered as a powerhouse in this area. The leader was the 55 Immortal King-level powerhouses of the Dragon Palace. This did not include the Immortal King-level powerhouse of the Devouring Dragon. The energy in the Dragon Transformation Pool can allow 50 members to have the combat strength of an Immortal King. Prime Minister Ge assigned 50 members of the Dragon Palace to increase their combat strength. As for the other 55 members of the Immortal God King, I will help you to upgrade your combat strength again. The disciples of the Immortal God Lord level will also receive a huge upgrade. Wang Xian said to all the members of the Dragon Palace. Thank you, Dragon King. All the members responded immediately. Aohe, your devouring dragon should have a huge upgrade this time. Wang Xian's gaze landed on Aohe as he spoke. After killing nearly 40 Immortal Kings, there were quite a number of Level 2 Immortal Kings. According to the resources that the devouring dragon needed to upgrade. This time, the devouring dragon could add 10 Level 1 Eternal God Lord members. Aohe could upgrade to Level 2 Immortal King. Other than him, the resources should be enough for one devouring dragon to upgrade to Level 2 Immortal King. According to Wang Xian's rough estimation, the Dragon Palace should be able to increase the combat strength of 3 Immortal King Level 4. At that time, it was time for the Dragon Palace to counterattack. Chapter 2478 2478 2478 Declaring War? The Arrogance of the Dragon Palace. Time slowly passed, half a month to an undying emperor with 1,000,000 years of lifespan, it was just a snap of the fingers. But to the Dragon Palace, they were 1,000,000 times faster than the other powers. In half a month, all the members of the Dragon Palace had completely digested all the resources. Close to 40 undying emperor corpses, along with the resources from the sale, made Aochi Tian step into Undying Emperor Level 1. Undying Level 1, he had Undying Level 4 battle strength. Other than Aochi Tian's improvement, Ao Xingmu, Aochi, Muze Sen and the 3 members of the Dragon Palace all had Undying Level 2 battle strength. Right now, the number of Dragon Palace Undying Level 1 members had reached 80. Other than them, the ones who had increased the most were the Devouring Dragon, Aohe and the others. Aohe and the others could be said to be part of the Bug Clan. The Bug Clan's characteristics were fully displayed on them. The strongest was their crazy growth and reproduction. Their numbers didn't increase, but their strength had increased by a lot. Close to 40 undying countries, the Swallowing Dragon had 12 undying Level 1 existences. Among them, a few Level 2 undying countries allowed Aohe and a Swallowing Dragon to reach Undying Level 2. Level 2 could fight Level 4. Level 1 could fight Level 3. In other words, the Dragon Palace had 3 Undying King Level 4 fighters, 18 Undying King Level 3 fighters, 6 Undying King Level 2 fighters, and 80 Undying King Level 1 fighters. There were a total of 107 Undying King Level fighters. This was not counting Wang Xian. More than 100 Undying King level fighters were definitely overlords in this region. The Iron Blood Alliance, which was hidden very deeply and many people didn't know about, was much weaker than the Dragon Palace in terms of overall strength. After all, the Iron Blood Alliance only had over 40 undying godly monarchs. Dragon King, during the period when the Dragon Palace's strength increased, we discovered something about the chairman of the Heavenly Beast Group, the sect leader of the Heavenly Tiger Sect, the hall leader of the Thousand Beast Hall, and the Ancient Beast Grandmaster. In the Dragon King's hall, Prime Minister Gui walked in with a piece of information in his hand. Have you found them? Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and asked immediately. During the month when the members of the Dragon Palace were improving, although Wang Xian's strength did not improve further, he used this period of time to completely master the black hole disturbance formation that could trap a level 3 immortal king. In the past, he did not have the time to master it, so a level 3 immortal king could easily shatter the black hole disturbance formation. Now, he could completely trap it. In other words, he could capture a level 3 immortal king desolate beast and kill a level 3 immortal king. Dragon King, someone found them at the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. Prime Minister Gui reported. Eastly Immortal Dynasty. Wang Xian mumbled. During the previous battle, the Eastly Immortal Dynasty had secretly helped them and bought their battle pets in advance. Wang Xian was very clear about that. At that time, the Dragon Palace was not a match for the Eastly Immortal Dynasty, so Wang Xian did not take any action. But now, are you sure that the 4 of them are in the Eastly Immortal Dynasty? Wang Xian confirmed. Yes, Dragon King. This matter has been reported to the AI. Now, almost everyone knows about it. Furthermore, during the battle a month ago, everyone and all the factions basically understand that the Eastly Immortal Dynasty is involved. Prime Minister Gui immediately said. In that case, go and announce it. Ask the Eastly Immortal Dynasty to hand over the 4 of them. Otherwise, they would be making an enemy out of the Dragon Palace. This area has been peaceful for too long. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he spoke to Prime Minister Gui. His Dragon Palace was no longer so easy to bully. Since they dared to participate in this, they would have to pay the price. The reason why he wanted them to hand over the 4 of them, the chairman of the Heaven Beast Corporation, was to see their attitude. If they were determined to go their own way, then let's fight. It's the Dragon King. Prime Minister Gui immediately nodded and retreated. It had been a month since the last world-shaking battle. However, even after a month had passed, that battle still had a lot of heat. Especially not long ago, someone saw the 4 of them in the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. This basically confirmed that the Eastly Immortal Dynasty was involved in that battle. However, the Eastly Immortal Dynasty did not make any announcement, and the Dragon Palace also fell silent. This made many people guess that the Dragon Palace did not dare to completely offend the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. After all, as a dynasty with a long history of tens of millions of years, they had an immortal king level 4 powerhouse to oversee it. The foundation they had was much stronger than the Heaven Beast Corporation. The Dragon Palace was no match for the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. It was possible that the Dragon Palace would take it as if the Eastly Immortal Dynasty did not interfere. Quickly go to the main page of the Brain Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace has announced something. They actually asked the Eastly Immortal Dynasty to hand over the 4 chairmen of the Heavenly Beast Corporation. What? How is this possible? The Dragon Palace did not take any action for a month. Why did they suddenly announce it? It's true they actually asked the Eastly Immortal Dynasty to hand over the chairman and the other 3, or else the consequences would be at their own risk. This is a blatant threat. Crazy, this Dragon Palace is really crazy, directly asking the Eastly Immortal Dynasty to hand over the people, or else the consequences would be at their own risk. This can be said to be a declaration of war. The Dragon Palace's announcement was like a huge rock on a calm lake. When everyone thought that the Dragon Palace was afraid of the Eastly Dynasty and would pretend that this matter had never happened, the Dragon Palace actually made such an announcement. This was a blatant declaration of war. There was only one possibility that could be calmed down, and that was for the Eastly Dynasty to hand over the 4 of them, But was it possible? The possibility was very small. Once the Eastly Immortal Dynasty handed them over, it would be a huge blow to the Eastly Dynasty's prestige. The announcement of the Dragon Palace war pet spread through the area at a terrifying speed. In less than half an hour, almost everyone watching the AI knew about this news. This caused the hundreds of thousands of life planets to shake. Will the Eastly Dynasty start a war with the Dragon Palace? The Dragon Palace is no match for the Eastly Dynasty. How dare they declare war so arrogantly? Some people were shocked. Arrogant. How dare they ask the Eastly Dynasty to hand over the 4 chairmen of the Heavenly Beast Group? Haha, does he really think that he can fight us with such strength? I haven't even prepared to fight with them. They actually dare to provoke us first. At this moment, in the Eastly Immortal Dynasty's palace on the Eastly planet, the Emperor God roared with a face full of dignity and disdain. Immediately announced the generals and ministers, the 4 of them. Chapter 2479. 2479 Eastly Dynasty's disregard. Reporting to the Divine Emperor. In the Eastly Dynasty's imperial study, one by one, important generals and ministers entered and called out respectfully. In the middle seat, the Divine Emperor leaned against a chair and gave them a faint signal. Dear ministers, please wait a moment. The Divine Emperor said and gently sipped the tea on the table. The generals and ministers looked at each other, silently waiting on the side. Emperor. 5 minutes later, 4 old men slowly walked in, looking at the Emperor before them, respectfully cupping their hands. Hee, my 4 friends, please take a seat, since we've invited you here today. I'm sure you already know some things. The Emperor looked at the 4, smiling as he said, Emperor God, the Dragon Palace is extremely arrogant. They don't care about the Eastly Immortal Dynasty at all. What do you plan to do? The people who came were naturally the chairman of the Heavenly Beast Group, the leader of the Heavenly Tiger Sect, the leader of the Thousand Beast Hall, and the Ancient Beast Grandmaster. The 4 of them said expressionlessly, What do you all want to do? The Dragon Palace wants to destroy the 4 of you. The Emperor smiled and said to them, Is the Emperor going to hand us over? The leader of the Sky Tiger Sect looked at him and said, Our Eastly Immortal Dynasty would not do such a thing. However, the Dragon Palace is trying to eradicate the 4 of you. The Emperor shook his head and said, For leaders, although you are not weak as long as the Dragon Palace is here, it is impossible for you to rise again. Unless you go to other areas to survive. At this time, an important official added after the Emperor finished speaking. His words made the 4 of them look gloomy. They had already heard about the intelligence system. They did not expect the Dragon Palace to be so arrogant as to ask the Eastly Immortal Dynasty to hand them over. The Dragon Palace wanted to offend the Eastly Immortal Dynasty and kill them. And with just the Dragon Palace's strength, they were their match. They and the Dragon Palace could be said to be irreconcilable, and just like the official said, it would be difficult for them to make a comeback here. Unless they left, but where would they go? How could they be willing to leave? The 4 of them looked at each other, looking at the Emperor. 4 of you, what do you think, join our Eastly Undying Dynasty and be given 4 kings with different surnames, each taking control of a planet. If we capture that Dragon King in the future, the 4 of you are all beast-taming grandmasters. You will become the pillars of our Eastly Undying Dynasty. The Emperor smiled and said to them. The 4 of them were silent. This wasn't the first time the Eastly Dynasty had recruited them. A month ago they had also tried to recruit them, but they didn't agree. Okay, but we have one condition, that Dragon King and the Dragon Palace must be destroyed. The 4 of them exchanged a few words in secret, slowly raising their heads and saying firmly, Okay, of course, with the 4 brothers joining us, destroying the Dragon Palace naturally won't be hard. The Emperor stood up and laughed loudly. We welcome the 4 lords to join the Eastly Dynasty. The officials and generals besides stood up and congratulated with smiles. Emperor, what should we do now? The 4 of them cupped their hands and asked. Everyone has seen the power of the Dragon Palace, 5 undying Emperor Level 3 warriors. This organization isn't weak, it can be said to be very strong. If we want to destroy it, we'll have to pay a huge price. Recently, we found a few powerful beast-taming grandmasters to help tame the 13 battle pets we bought from the Dragon Palace. We should be able to do so in another half a month. I wonder if the 10 battle pets in your hands have been tamed. Of course, since the Dragon Palace dares to challenge us so arrogantly, we naturally won't remain indifferent. The Emperor God smiled and looked at the 4 people. General Song. Yes, Your Majesty. Send someone to seal the Dragon Palace's pet shop on our East Lake planet. It's the Emperor God. He immediately ordered a general beside him. Prime Minister Lee. Yes, Your Majesty. Send an order to all the forces to forbid the purchase of the Dragon Palace's pet shop. It's the Emperor. Another order was given, and a Prime Minister nodded. For princes, our Eastly Undying Empire has stood here for over 10 million years. We'll let you all experience our strength and strength. The Emperor said to the 4, walking over and patting their shoulders. All right, let's see. The 4 of them smiled. Once they captured the Dragon King, it would be a huge opportunity for them. Emperor God, do we still need to announce it on the AI? An important official asked. Announce? This is the behavior of the weak. If the Dragon Palace is strong enough, they can send people over, Emperor God shook his head, his eyes revealing a look of disdain. Currently, in the Eastly Immortal Dynasty, there were 5 Level 3 Immortal King level experts. With the 4 of them joining, there were 9. Most importantly, there were Level 4 Immortal King level experts. They now had more than 40 Immortal King level experts, and one of them was that they had a total of 16 Immortal King battle pets. Including the 10 of the Heaven Beast Corporation's chairman and the rest, they had 26. Their Undying Godly Monarch experts had a total of more than 60. Adding on some other trump cards, their strength, even if they did not count the Level 4 Undying Godly Monarch experts, was double that of the Heaven Beast Corporation. With double strength, they could easily suppress the Dragon Palace. It's the God King. The officials immediately nodded. Right now, the most important thing is to find an opportunity to capture the Dragon King. He said indifferently, following which he waved his hand, informed the Eastly Undying God King to welcome Chairman Du and the others to join our Eastly Undying God Dynasty. A ceremony will be held in 5 days. At the same time, Prime Minister Lee, you will send out invitations to all the major powers. Yes. Everyone's hearts moved as they nodded. The group left, General Song led his underlings and immediately headed towards East Chi Planet. Through the teleportation formation, they quickly arrived at East Chi Planet's administrative office. The people from East Chi Planet had received the news and were already waiting here. The group of a few hundred people didn't hesitate at all as they flew straight towards the Dragon Palace pet shop. Seal it. They were very fast. When they arrived in front of the Dragon Palace pet shop, they attracted the attention of many people around them. General Song waved his hand at the people around him and said immediately, "Yes, General." The people nodded and walked to the door of the Dragon Palace pet shop immediately. Bang! A middle-aged man waved his hand, and the plaque with the words Dragon Palace Pet broke into 2 halves. The others immediately put a seal on it. Dragon Palace Pet Shop, seal. Chapter 2480. 2480 Dragon Palace Gift 1. This is? Around the Dragon Palace pets, some people were shocked as they looked at the seal on the shop. They looked at the card that had been destroyed. It's the Eastly Undying Dynasty. Everyone's expression changed when they saw the enforcers in the shop. The Eastly Undying Dynasty has sealed the shop. Is this a response to the Dragon Palace's words on the AI? Rumble, compared to the Dragon Palace, the Eastly Undying Dynasty is simply too strong. The surrounding people discussed softly, their faces filled with shock. And when General Song brought his men to the Dragon Palace's pet shop, Prime Minister Li represented the Eastly Undying Dynasty and began to pay a visit to the various powers. Saying he was paying a visit, it was actually a notification, banning the purchase of Dragon Palace pets. Latest news: the Dragon Palace pet shop on East Lake Planet has been sealed. The Eastly Immortal Dynasty has sent people to seal it. Is this the Eastly Immortal Dynasty's response to the Dragon Palace? Sealing the Dragon Palace pet shop, they don't even care about it. Ever since the Dragon Palace announced it, the Eastly Immortal Dynasty hasn't responded at all, and now they've sealed the Dragon Palace pet shop. Not only did they seal the Dragon Palace's pet shop, the Eastly Undying Dynasty is now informing the various powers that they are prohibited from buying the Dragon Palace's pets. What? The Eastly Undying Dynasty is completely sealing the Dragon Palace's pets? Very quickly, the news spread to the AI at a terrifying speed. When everyone saw the news, they were all shocked. The Eastly Dynasty didn't announce anything, but their actions showed that they didn't care about the Dragon Palace at all. The Dragon Palace had only threatened them on the internet, and the Eastly Dynasty didn't say anything, immediately sealing their pets. With the Eastly Dynasty's position and power in this star field, they controlled the East Lake business planet. Who would dare to violate the Eastly Undying Dynasty seal? Who would dare to buy war pets in the Eastly Immortal Dynasty in the future? No one would dare. Even if the Dragon Palace sold them at a lower price. Look at the main page of the Eastly Immortal Dynasty's computer. The Eastly Immortal Dynasty has announced something. At this moment, another piece of information caused a huge sensation. The announcement of the Eastly Immortal Dynasty had nothing to do with the Dragon Palace, but it had a lot to do with the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. The former chairman of the Heavenly Beast Group, the leader of the Heavenly Tiger Sect, the leader of the 10,000 Beast Hall, and the master of ancient beasts all announced that they had joined the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. The Eastly Immortal Dynasty would hold a ceremony in 5 days and invite all the major forces to come. 4 level 3 Eternal Godlords had joined, and they were all Master Beast Tamers. It was indeed worth it for the Eastly Immortal Dynasty to hold a ceremony. When this news came out, everyone was in an uproar. What does the Eastly Immortal Dynasty mean? The Dragon Palace threatened them to hand it over, but in the end, all 4 of them joined the Eastly Immortal Dynasty and even became kings with different surnames. They even invited all the powers in the world to come and congratulate them 5 days later? This is a complete slap in the face, a blatant slap in the face. They don't put the Dragon Palace in their eyes at all. Chairman Du of the Heavenly Beast Group, the leader of the Heavenly Tiger Sect, the leader of the 10,000 Beast Hall, and the master of the ancient beast, all of them are influential figures in our region. If they join the Eastly Dynasty, the power of the Eastly Dynasty will be even more terrifying. Once the 4 of them join, the power of the Eastly Dynasty will increase by a lot. The announcement of the Dragon Palace is a slap to the face. If you steal the chicken, you will end up losing the rice. Countless people expressed their opinions on the AI. Everyone had some understanding of the power of the leader of the Heaven Beast Group and the Immortal Dynasty of the Eastly Dynasty. They even had some understanding of the power of the Dragon Palace in the last battle. Now that they looked at it, the gap between the Dragon Palace and the Eastly Dynasty was huge, especially with 4 top-tier experts joining the Eastly Dynasty. The threat of the Dragon Palace had now become a joke. Most importantly, the He Dian 5 days later represented a piece of information. The forces that came to participate would definitely support the Eastly Dynasty. In other words, they promised the Eastly Dynasty that they would never buy the war pets of the Dragon Palace in the future. How many factions would participate in the event? Many people were almost certain that at least 90% of the factions in this region would participate in the event. With the strength of the Eastly Celestial Empire, no faction would dare to provoke them for no reason. This made many people realize that the Dragon Palace would be isolated in the future. As for whether they would be attacked by the Eastly Celestial Empire in the future, no one knew. Dragon King, this is what happened just now. At this moment, In the Dragon Palace on the Tianzi continent, Prime Minister Gui transmitted the news from the outside to Wang Xian immediately. Wang Xian didn't need Prime Minister Gui to relay the news. He had also seen the news from the AI. The Dragon Palace's pet shop has been sealed. The 4 of them from the Heaven Beast Corporation have joined the Eastly Dynasty. Interesting. The Eastly Dynasty doesn't put us in their eyes at all. However, from their point of view, they do have the right to not put us in their eyes. Wang Xian leaned back on the dragon throne, and his eyes were sparkling. Dragon King, in 5 days, they will invite all the major forces to head over. At that time, almost all the powerhouses from the entire Eastly Immortal Celestial Empire will be here. When that time comes, Prime Minister Gui stood at the side and said softly to Wang Xian, I was still thinking about how to gather all the powerhouses from the Eastly Immortal Dynasty so that we can catch them all in one go. The corners of Wang Xian's mouth curled up slightly as a smile appeared on his face. This is indeed a good opportunity. Prime Minister Gui nodded his head. Buzz buzz buzz. At this moment, Wang Xian's brain started to tremble. Damn, Boss Wang, I'm going to be done for. Just now, the Prime Minister of the Eastly Immortal Dynasty came to our overlord and warned us. He told us to head to the Eastly planet in 5 days. Now, my master told me not to go out and not to look for you, Boss Wang. Fuck, Boss Wang, fuck them. I'm so miserable. There are still a few God Kings in the Overlord sect who are unhappy with me. One of them is a level 2 Immortal God King. Fuck, I want to fuck him to death. Sob, Boss Wang, I'm so pitiful. I'll sneak to the Tianzi continent to look for you in 2 days. Wang Xian opened his AI and saw a video sent to him by Invincible Battle Technique. In the video, he was crying and wailing loudly. Wang Xian smiled when he saw him like this. His eyes were sparkling. Come over if you're all right. Wang Xian sent him a message and slowly leaned on the dragon chair. Get everyone in the Dragon Palace to prepare and get the Firehammer clan to create some black hole disturbance formations. He spoke to Prime Minister Gui slowly. Obviously, the Eastly Dynasty knew that he had a good relationship with Invincible Battle Technique, so they threatened the Overlord sect. Some people in the Overlord sect were afraid that Invincible Battle Technique would implicate them, so they had a lot of opinions about him. It's the Dragon King. 5 days later, our Dragon Palace will send them a congratulatory gift. Prime Minister Gui said with a smile. Chapter 2481. 2481 2481 Congratulatory Gift 2 from the Dragon Palace. Boss Wang, I'm here. I'm at the Wall of Protection. There were still 3 days left until the ceremony of the Eastly Dynasty in 5 days. Everything in the Dragon Palace was being prepared in an orderly manner. On this day, Invincible Battle Technique came to the Tianzi continent and immediately sent him a message. Wait there for a moment. Someone will come to pick you up very soon. Wang Xian received the message from Invincible Battle Technique and immediately sent a member of the Dragon Palace to pick him up. Boss Wang, your Dragon Palace is too luxurious. My goodness, is this your dragon throne? Do you have to be so domineering? Invincible Battle Technique followed a member of the Dragon Palace to the Dragon King's palace. He widened his eyes and looked around in shock. He had also entered his master's immortal nation. Compared to the Dragon Palace, the difference was simply too huge. How did you sneak out? Wang Xian looked at him with a smile and asked. Boss Wang, no matter what, I have the level 2 Immortal King battle pet that you gave me. Coupled with my master's identity, the rest of the Overlord sect still don't dare to imprison me. Invincible in Battle Technique smiled. Boss Wang, it seems that the Eastly Dynasty is trying to deal with the Dragon Palace. I heard from my master that with the strength of the Eastly Dynasty and the 4 people from the Heaven Beast group, the Dragon Palace is probably not their match. Boss Wang, you guys have to be careful. However, with our strength, it won't be easy for the Eastly Dynasty to deal with the Dragon Palace. Then he continued. We don't have the strength to deal with the Eastly Immortal Dynasty yet. However, it's not certain if the Eastly Dynasty will still exist in 5 days. Wang Xian said to him indifferently. He didn't hide anything. Although Invincible battle technique was unreliable, he was still very reliable. Boss Wang, what do you mean? Invincible battle technique looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. Nothing much. 3 days later, when the Eastly Immortal Dynasty's He arrives, I'm prepared to give them a big gift. Wang Xian said with a smile. This? Invincible battle technique widened his eyes. How about it? Do you want to join in the fun? Wang Xian walked to his side and patted his shoulder with a smile. Gulp, Boss Wang, you're not joking, right? Are we really giving them a gift or a fake gift? Invincible battle technique opened his mouth slightly, and a trace of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. To be honest, he was also filled with fear towards the giant Eastly Immortal Dynasty. Looking at Boss Wang's intentions, he actually wanted to. What do you think? Wang Xian looked at him with a smile. Boss Wang, I'm invincible in combat techniques, not cowardice. I'm afraid that my master will beat me to death. Invincible in combat techniques had a bitter expression on his face. However, he quickly raised his eyebrows and asked, Boss Wang, are you confident? Would I do something that I'm not confident about? Wang Xian asked back. Then you can't leave me out of this. After all, Invincible battle technique is also an immortal king-level existence. Invincible battle technique rubbed his hands and said with a smile. Hee. Wang Xian looked at him and smiled. You should know about the bloodline in your body, right? Wang Xian's gaze landed on him as he sensed the powerful bloodline power. I know, Boss Wang. With the protection of my bloodline, I'm invincible in my battle techniques. I'm destined to become an invincible powerhouse who can roar the starry sky. Invincible in battle techniques opened his mouth and raised his head slightly as he said proudly. Your bloodline is very strong. Let me bring you to raise your strength. Wang Xian patted his shoulder and brought him into the dragon transformation pool. Boss Wang, you're the best. If I were a girl. Get lost. Boss Wang, I have a sister. Do you want to think about it? This sister of mine is not bad. Shut up. Wang Xian brought invincible battle technique to the location of the dragon transformation pool. There was still a lot of dragon blood in the dragon transformation pool. He looked at invincible battle technique that was glowing in his eyes. With a wave of his arm, he threw it directly into the pool. Absorb the energy inside and come out when you reach level 1 Immortal King. I will prepare an immortal kingdom for you. Wang Xian said to him calmly. Wow, this is so awesome. Very soon, invincible battle techniques shrieks rang out. Wang Xian ignored him and asked Prime Minister Gui to send someone to watch him as he walked into the Dragon King's palace. The level of the bloodline in invincible battle technique was extremely high. It was so high that if he didn't lose it midway, it would be enough for him to become a top powerhouse in the universe. Furthermore, he was Wang Xian's only friend in this resplendent region. It was fine to help him a little. Just as invincible battle technique was immersed in cultivating in the dragon transformation pool. In the outside world, the news of the chairman of the Heaven Beast Corporation and the rest joining the Eastly Immortal Dynasty was spreading like wildfire. More and more news came from the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. For example, the 4 chairmen of the Heavenly Beast Corporation were given the title of kings with different surnames, each of them controlling a planet. For example, the Eastly Immortal Dynasty would establish a war pet shop, which would be led by the 4 of them. Especially the establishment of a war pet shop, which would be a blatant enemy of the Dragon Palace's war pets. The day of He was getting closer and closer, and on the AI, there were news every day that a certain force was going to the Eastly Immortal Dynasty to attend the ceremony. Over 100,000 human planets, over 104th and 5th tier powers, there are already over 10 that are prepared to attend the ceremony. This time, at least 90% of the powers of the Eastly Undying Dynasty will go, or even more. This is obviously a surrender. Anyone who doesn't attend this ceremony will definitely be considered to be related to the Dragon Palace. That's right, from this ceremony, we can basically determine the situation between the Eastly Undying Dynasty and the Dragon Emperor. There's no need to fight? The Dragon Palace cannot compare to the Eastly Dynasty at all. On the AI, the ceremony this time caused countless discussions. Reporting to the Emperor, 4th and 5th level powers have a total of 35, 23 have already arrived, and they have also replied that they will arrive early tomorrow. At the same time, within the Eastly Undying God Dynasty, Prime Minister Li was smiling as he reported to Emperor. As expected. Emperor nodded indifferently. Emperor, the Iron Blood Alliance hasn't replied yet. However, at this time, Prime Minister Li frowned and said, Iron Blood Alliance. Emperor's eyes gleamed. As the overlords of this region, they had already received news of the Iron Blood Alliance. They were extremely shocked by the strength of the Iron Blood Alliance. Now, they didn't place the Dragon Palace in their eyes, but they placed the Iron Blood Alliance in their eyes. The Iron Blood Alliance has the threat of the Beast Park. We don't need to take it to heart. After a long while, the Emperor God shook his head and waved his hand at him to leave. Prime Minister Li bowed and left. 5 days passed very quickly. Early in the morning on the 5th day, Wang Xian was standing in the sky above the sea of the Tianzi continent. Behind him stood a group of experts from the Dragon Palace. A terrifying aura soared into the sky. Boss Wang, wait for me. I'm invincible in combat techniques. Chapter 2482. 2482 Dragon Palaces Congratulatory Gift 3. Above the underground Sea Dragon Palace of Tianzi Continent. Wang Xian stood in the air. Beside him, Ao Crab, Ao Chiyan, Ao Yao, Ao Qi, Ao Xingmu, Muzisin, and Prime Minister Gui stood behind him. The Dragon Palace's strength was not fully revealed. Initially, they were not prepared to reveal it directly, to prevent the Eastly Undying from fleeing in fear. At this time, the Invincible battle technique's voice rang out. It flew out from the ocean and gave off a powerful aura. Resplendent laws surrounded his entire body and he was in high spirits, filled with excitement. Boss Wang, luckily I broke through in time and caught up. Invincible battle technique opened his mouth and flew towards Wang Xian. In the past few days, Invincible battle technique had absorbed enough dragon blood and his strength had risen to the Immortal King level. With the Immortal King level in the Dragon Palace, he didn't even need to build the Immortal King level. The current him was an expert in this region. Most importantly, he had a powerful bloodline in his body. Even though he had just broken through, his influence wasn't weak. At the very least, he was not weaker than his ancestor, Mo Hen. To be able to reach the Immortal King realm at the age of less than 1,000 years old with invincible battle techniques was a very shocking thing in the entire starry sky. Let's go, the distance is not close. Wang Xian looked at the excited invincible battle techniques and said with a smile. Let's go well, boss. Today, let's destroy the Dong Li Immortal Dynasty and let them know how powerful I am. When we make our move later, hand over a dozen Undying Level 1 warriors to me. Invincible said proudly and proudly. To be able to rise from Eternal God Lord Level 5 to Undying Level 1 in just a few days, this was something he had never thought of before. He wasn't even 1,000 years old, yet he was already so powerful. Wouldn't that mean he could dominate the entire universe in the future? Of course, this was just his wishful thinking. He knew that the main reason he could advance this time was Boss Wang's help. Even if he had the bloodline, without that powerful energy and the immortal god country that Boss Wang had prepared for him, he would need at least a few thousand years to advance to Level 1 Immortal King. Alright, I'll leave it to you then. I'll leave it to a dozen Level 1 Immortal King powerhouses. Wang Xian smiled. His invincible battle technique was not bad, but he had a Level 2 Immortal King level battle pet. He could really deal with more than a dozen level 1 immortal king-level powerhouses. Let's go. He continued to speak and flew towards the protective wall. There was a long-distance teleportation formation that Xian Tianzi was preparing for the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, are you guys going? Do you need our help? When Wang Xian and the rest arrived, they saw Xian Tianzi, Mo Hen, and the experts from the Federation. Everyone seemed to have understood the situation as well. Looking at Wang Xian and the rest, they frowned and asked, "There's no need. Some matters can be resolved by the Dragon Palace." Wang Xian shook his head at them. "Be careful. If necessary, we can take action." Xian Tianzi looked at Wang Xian with a complicated expression. Not long ago, the young man in front of him had come to the Tianzi continent to seek refuge with him. Now, he had grown to an existence that could contend with the overlord of this region. This made him feel extremely complicated. At the same time, he had some vague guesses. There's no need, everyone. Our Dragon Palace can still settle some small matters. Wang Xian smiled at them. Then be careful, Dragon King. Xian Tianzi and the rest nodded slightly. They knew that even with their help, it wouldn't be of much use. Invincible too. At the side, battle tactics. Mo Hen noticed that his battle tactics were invincible. He frowned and shouted, Wait here. My invincible battle tactics will soon be known throughout the entire region. At that time, more than 100,000 human life planets will know that my battle tactics are invincible. Very soon, the entire space will also hear about my invincible battle technique. Invincible battle technique looked at the old ancestor, the corners of his mouth curled up as he said confidently, "You punk, don't think that just because the Dragon King gave you an undying level 2 battle pet, you think you're so great." Mo Hen stared at him and said softly, "Umph." Invincible battle technique snorted, "Old ancestor, don't look down on me, don't you see who I'm with?" As he spoke, he flicked his finger and a law fragment flew towards the crotch of Invincible battle technique Mo Hen. Invincible battle technique Mo Hen's face turned black as he blocked the law fragment with his palm. "Alright, I'm leaving with Boss Wang. Let the people from the land of battle technique pay attention to the AI." As Invincible battle technique spoke, he followed behind Wang Xian and headed towards the teleportation formation. Hiss. All of a sudden, he stretched out his hand to catch Invincible battle technique's ink mark. He stared at the substantial law fragment in his hand and his eyes were filled with shock. It was as if he didn't hear Invincible battle technique's words. His gaze was fixed on the fragment. This is... Xian Tianzi, who was standing at the side, also noticed the substantial law fragment in his hand. "Fatty Jean Fa, congratulations. Your Jean Fa clan is about to rise up." Xian Tianzi said with some envy. Good. Is this the Dragon King's help?" Jean Fa Mo Hen could not help but tremble. His face was filled with excitement. His Jean Fa clan actually produced another immortal godly king. Furthermore, it was an immortal godly king who was so young that he was a little freakish. Wang. At the side, Wang Xian and the rest stepped into the teleportation formation and slowly disappeared. Howl, 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 howl. However, at this moment in a distant space, 5 flame undying god king war pets that were covered in flame laws were flying in the air. On their bodies, there were 5 figures. Each figure was emitting a vast pressure, flying in the air like meteors. The flames streaked past, passing by an incomparably huge universe beast garden. That was the Luo Man Beast Garden, 5 people and 5 powerful battle pets, flying towards the direction of the Iron Blood God Dynasty. We pay our respects to the emissary of the Raging Flame God Dynasty. At the front line of the Iron Blood Alliance, over 10 silhouettes stood there, of which the elder of the Raging Flame Undying Dynasty and a few youths were beside them. Emperor Yang. The 5 flame undying warriors nodded at them, looking at the old man beside them and shouting, I heard that the emperor has an important matter. The old man looked at the five and asked curiously. It's Emperor Yang, everyone from the Iron Blood Alliance. We are willing to send people to help you, however we need one condition. The five warriors on undying emperor mounts looked at the Iron Blood Alliance members. What? The Raging Flame Empire is willing to help us? The moment they finished speaking, everyone from the Iron Blood Alliance was excited, their eyes burning with passion. What condition? We Iron Blood Alliance will do our best. Chapter 2483. 2483 Dragon Palace's congratulatory gift for. In front of the Lorman Desolate Beast Park, the members of the Iron Blood Alliance stared at the five members of the Blazing Flame Divine Dynasty with shock and excitement. It had not been a day or two since they had sought help from the Blazing Flame Divine Dynasty. Even if one of the princes of the Blazing Flame Divine Dynasty had come, they still had not agreed to come and support them. But this time, the Blazing Flame Divine Dynasty had actually proposed a condition to support them. As long as they didn't pay too heavy a price, they would agree. The conditions are very simple. The five of them stared at the Iron Blood Alliance leader. With a wave of their arms, an image appeared beside them. Kill this person in your area. Once he's killed, we agree to help you. If it weren't for the fact that our Raging Flame God Dynasty is too far away from this place, we wouldn't have asked you to attack us. Someone in the middle said, pointing at the figure in the picture. This is. The members of the Iron Blood Alliance looked over and saw the figure in the picture, and their faces changed slightly. This is the Dragon King. The faces of all the members of the Iron Blood Alliance changed. It was the Dragon King. The Dragon King who helped the Iron Blood Alliance when they were in danger. He was their benefactor. Now, the Blazing Flame Divine Dynasty's condition was to destroy the Dragon King and then help them. This made everyone's hearts sink. It's him, grandfather. It's that damn fellow. At the side, a few youths saw the person in the picture and shouted with an embarrassed expression. N. The old man also slowly nodded. His most precious weapon had been destroyed by him. Oh, Emperor Yang knows him? A Flame God Dynasty warrior raised his eyebrows and asked. Yes, he has over 10 undying emperors under him. He should be strong in this region. Emperor Yang nodded. We have some simple information about him. Dragon Palace Dragon King. He has 5 undying level 3 warriors under him. Undying level 1 and 2 are unknown. He should have some powerful battle pets. Right now, his relationship with the Eastly Undying Dynasty is very tense. The person we want to kill is him. An elder from the Burning Sun Dynasty looked at the Iron Blood Alliance and said. This caused the expressions of the Iron Blood Alliance members to change. Envoys, can we ask how this Dragon Emperor offended you? The Iron Blood Alliance leader's expression changed as he asked them. Oh, you're not willing to do such a simple thing? Upon hearing the Iron Blood Alliance's words, several experts from the Blazing Sun Dynasty were slightly surprised. According to their previous request to their side, the other party would immediately agree to such a request. Now, they were actually hesitating and wanted to ask the specific reason. Buzz. At this moment, the words of Lord Yang rang in their ears. Hearing his words, the eyes of the 5 people of the Raging Flame Divine Dynasty flickered. Everyone of the Iron Blood Alliance, we can tell you the truth. Our Raging Flame Divine Dynasty has never met that Dragon King, nor do we have any grudges. It's a lord in the center who wants to kill him. That lord has spoken, and that Dragon King will die without a doubt. Even if you don't make a move, our Raging Flame Divine Dynasty will destroy him by other means. Iron Blood Alliance, give us an answer as soon as possible. The old man from the Raging Flame Dynasty in the center said slowly. Lord from the Central Region. Everyone from the Iron Blood Alliance was slightly shocked. There was only one force that could be called the Lord of the Central Region. And that was the Imperial Court. I'll immediately contact the patriarchs of our Iron Blood Alliance. The Iron Blood Alliance master pursed his lips and immediately sent an urgent message. All along, the Iron Blood Alliance's biggest wish was that the Raging Flame dynasty agreed to help them. Now that the other party had agreed, they had to kill their benefactor. This was an ungrateful thing. He could not make the decision between the two. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Soon, in less than a minute, 3 figures appeared at the side. The 3 arrived and cupped their hands toward the people of the Raging Flame Divine Dynasty. Everyone of the Raging Flame Divine Dynasty, give us 5 minutes to discuss. An old man said in a deep voice. Yes. The people of the Raging Flame Divine Dynasty nodded indifferently. Great-grandfather, will the people of the Iron Blood Alliance agree? You should know that the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace helped them a lot not long ago. At the side, a youth looked at the members of the Iron Blood Alliance who had flown to the side and asked Lord Yang. The Iron Blood Alliance has always been threatened by the Lorman Desolate Beast Park. Even if they are the strongest in a region, they have always been fighting to survive. They will agree because I can feel that in order to live a better life, they will do things that they could not do in the past. The corners of King Yang's mouth curled up slightly, and a smile appeared on his face. He had never thought that the Dragon King who had broken his divine weapon would be killed by a lord in the central region. This was also very satisfying for him. Patriarch, that Dragon King helped us not long ago. This time we... At the side, the Alliance Master of the Iron Blood Alliance opened his mouth slightly and looked at the 3 strongest experts of their alliance. Our Iron Blood Alliance is not a heartless person who will repay kindness with enmity. An elder shook his head, his face full of hesitation. But we have to think about the hundreds of billions of people of the Iron Blood Alliance. Anyway, Lord Central wants to kill him, so the Dragon King is already a dead man. The difference is who will kill him. As soon as the Patriarch finished his words, another Patriarch opened his mouth and said slowly. The rest of the people sank into silence for a few seconds. After all, this is the only chance for our Iron Blood Alliance in millions of years. The leader of the Iron Blood Alliance also sighed slowly. We will always remember the favor of the Dragon King. But for the sake of our Iron Blood Alliance, we have to act. The last Patriarch looked at the people around him and said solemnly. Agreed. Even if we don't agree, the Dragon King won't live for long. For the sake of the Iron Blood Alliance, we agree. Our Iron Blood Alliance is clearly the strongest existence in this area, but now it's not as comfortable as many 4th or 5th-rate forces. I've had enough of this kind of fearful life. Beside them, the old men nodded. Since that's the case, call all the warriors of our Iron Blood Alliance back for a discussion. The Iron Blood Alliance leader said. It's the Alliance leader, the 2 deputy Alliance leaders should be in the Eastly Undying Empire right now. They were prepared to show off their strength, to see if they could recruit some organizations. Should we call them back too? An old man said. We don't need that. After we discuss it, we'll inform the 2 deputy Alliance leaders. They should still need to investigate some news. The Iron Blood Alliance leader thought for a while, shaking his head. After they discussed the situation, they would immediately come up with a plan and inform the 2 deputy Alliance leaders. Chapter 2484. 2484 Dragon Palace's Congratulatory Gift 5. It's the Alliance Master. The members of the Iron Blood Alliance nodded and looked at the members of the Raging Flame Divine Dynasty. Then, they extended their hands and made an inviting gesture. We agree to the conditions. We'll talk about the specific situation inside. The Iron Blood Alliance Master said with a smile. Good. The 5 members of the Raging Flame Divine Dynasty laughed with satisfaction on their faces. Beside them, Emperor Yang and the group of youths all had smiles in their eyes. At the same time, on Eastly Planet, in front of the palace was a huge plaza. The Dian ceremony was held at noon. On both sides of the huge plaza, there were rows and rows of soldiers lined up neatly. There were a total of 200,000 to 300,000 soldiers. The weakest of them were at the eternal God Lord level. They were all dressed in the same uniform, standing there with their heads held high. In the huge plaza, there was a stone platform in front of them. The entire plaza was filled with an atmosphere and vastness. Within the plaza, there were already many people from the Eastly Undying Empire coming over to watch the ceremony. From time to time, there would be many powers leading at least a few hundred disciples into the plaza. In this area, there were over 1,000 powers of all sizes, of which there were over 304th and 5th level powers. There was still an hour before noon. Close to 304th and 5th level powers had gathered in the huge plaza. Almost all the powerful powers in this area have arrived. The influence of the Eastly Undying Dynasty is still huge. When the celebration begins, all the powers should be here. After all, the Eastly Immortal Dynasty has stood in this starry sky for tens of millions of years. They have a deep foundation. How can a single dragon palace provoke them? The Dragon Palace is very strong, but compared to the Eastly Immortal Dynasty, they are still far behind. Some of the disciples of the factions glanced around and discussed with shocked faces. The Dragon Palace shamelessly announced on the AI that they would ask the Eastly Immortal Dynasty to hand over the 4 leaders of the Heaven Beast group. In the end, the Eastly Dynasty held today's celebration. Almost all the forces in the area were present, slapping the face of the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace's announcement was just a joke. More and more forces arrived, and the number of people in the square also increased. Soon, it reached a few million people. The sun was high up in the sky, and the time of noon soon arrived. At the front, many experts of the Eastly Dynasty appeared. Seeing the experts from the Easternly Dynasty coming over, the entire plaza gradually quieted down. The Easternly Emperor is here. Not long after, a voice rang out. Some people looked forward, and at the very front, the Easternly Emperor slowly walked over with a different gaze. Beside the Easternly Emperor, there were 4 elders. At this moment, the Easternly Emperor was dressed in a dragon robe, and the 4 elders were dressed in python robes. Only the Eastly Dynasty's Emperor-level experts had the right to wear this kind of clothing. Its chairman due of the Heaven Beast Corporation, the Sky Tiger Sect's Sect Master, the Myriad Beast Hall's Hall Master, and the Ancient Beast Grandmaster. In a corner of the square, the Overlord Sect's Sect Master was seated in the front, looking at the 4 people who had appeared on the stage, muttering to himself. Those were experts who were even more brilliant than him, Beast Tamer Grandmasters. Their statuses were much more honorable than his Overlord Sect's Sect Master. The Eastly Divine Dynasty is so powerful. With such power, Sect Leader, it's best to let the Invincible young master contact the Dragon King. That's right, Sect Leader. If we are implicated, our millions of years of foundation will be destroyed. Beside him, 2 old men said softly. The Overlord Sect Leader frowned slightly, not saying a word. Back then, when his disciple had gotten a level 2 Undying God King War Pet from the Dragon King, he didn't have so much sarcasm. Greetings, Eastly Emperor. Right at this time, Eastly Emperor came to the center, looking down at everyone in front of him. A group of warriors stood up, cupping their hands and shouting. Even though many of them were on the same level as Eastly Emperor, their status was much higher than anyone present. A salute was worthy of everyone's respect. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. I'm sorry, everyone from the Easternly Celestial Empire. Our Ironblood Alliance is a little late. However, just as everyone finished speaking, a voice suddenly sounded. At the entrance, more than 10 middle-aged elders were walking over. Oh! The Ironblood Alliance is also here. Everyone was slightly surprised, and their faces were full of astonishment. At the front, Eastly Divine Emperor was also surprised to see the Ironblood Alliance coming over. Haha, it's not too late. It's the honor of our Eastly Dynasty for the Ironblood Alliance to be here. Eastly Divine Emperor welcomed them with enthusiasm, and his attitude surprised all the forces around him. Oh, The Easternly Celestial Emperor. The Iron Blood Alliance has actually come. This is truly unexpected. However, what about the Easternly Celestial Emperor's attitude? Everyone was slightly shocked. They were somewhat surprised by the Easternly Celestial Emperor's attitude and his words. Was it the Easternly Celestial Empire's honor to be able to say such words? It was usually the weaker ones who would say such words to the stronger ones. Wasn't the Iron Blood Alliance weaker than the Eastly Dynasty? Everyone, this way please. Eastly Celestial Emperor led the 2 vice presidents of the Iron Blood Alliance to the front. That seat was where the experts of the Eastly Dynasty were sitting. The other forces were not qualified to sit there. Iron Blood Alliance. Chairman Du and the others of the Heaven Beast Corporation were also slightly puzzled when they saw the Celestial Emperor treating the Iron Blood Alliance so warmly. Celestial Emperor Dongli is too polite. The 2 Vice Alliance Masters of the Iron Blood Alliance smiled and cupped their hands. Everyone, please take a seat. Celestial Emperor Dongli extended his hand politely and gestured for them to take a seat. Then, he turned around and walked to the center of the table again. Welcome to the celebration ceremony of the 4 princes of our Eastly Celestial Dynasty today. We are also grateful to the major forces for giving face to our Eastly Celestial Dynasty. He stood at the front and cupped his hands towards everyone with a smile on his face. Taking advantage of today, we will introduce the 4 princes of our Eastly Immortal Dynasty with different surnames. At the same time, they will be the 4 leaders of our Eastly Battle Pets in the future. I believe that all of you have some understanding of the 4 Beast Tamer Grandmasters. I hope that all the major powers will take good care of the Eastly Battle Pets shop in the future. The Easternly Divine Emperor extended his hand and gestured to the chairman of the Heaven Beast Group before continuing. The 4 of them slowly came to the 2 sides of the Easternly Divine Emperor. They raised their heads slightly and wore faint smiles on their faces. Don't worry, Easternly Divine Emperor, we will definitely support you. That's right, we will definitely support you. The leaders of the various factions below immediately voiced their agreement. This made Emperor Dongli, who was on the stage, look satisfied. Why did it start so soon? Haha, sorry we're late. The Dragon Palace is here to send a congratulatory gift. Suddenly, a voice sounded from the entrance. The Dragon Palace was here. Chapter 2485. 2485 Dragon Palace vs. Eastly Dynasty 1. Why is it starting so soon? Sorry we are late. The Dragon Palace is here to send a congratulatory gift. The sudden voice and sudden laughter resounded throughout the entire square, causing everyone's faces to be filled with astonishment. In front of them, Emperor Dongli, who was standing in the middle of the stage, paused for a moment. He narrowed his eyes slightly and looked in the direction of the entrance. The experts and disciples from all the other forces were also slightly shocked. They turned their heads around in shock and astonishment. At the entrance, Wang Xian walked over with a smile on his face. Prime Minister Gue Qitian and the rest were standing on the left and right beside him. Invincible Battle Technique was also standing on the right. He held his head high and puffed out his chest. He was looking around excitedly. This area was filled with all the top forces in this area. From today onward, his name of Invincible Battle Technique would shake the entire starry sky. Thinking about this, Invincible Battle Techniques was extremely excited. See, Dragon Palace Dragon King actually brought people here, to send gifts? What do you mean, Dragon Palace Dragon King actually dared to come here and even said he wanted to send gifts? Is he trying to ease relations with the Eastly Undying Empire? What are they here for? This is the headquarters of the Eastly Undying Empire. There are only a dozen of them. Some forces saw Dragon King leading a dozen disciples over, their faces filled with shock. This time, almost all the warriors of the entire Eastly Undying Empire had come. And the dozen or so people from the Dragon Palace, were they here to ease the relationship and send gifts, or for what? Shit, Invincible in battle is mixed up with Dragon King again. In the Overlord sect's position, the Undyings looked at Invincible Fighter with high morale. Their expressions changed. Invincible Fighter was their Overlord sect's disciple, the Overlord sect leader's disciple. He could represent the entire Overlord sect. Now that he was with the Dragon Palace and the Dragon King, the Overlord sect would definitely be considered to be on the Dragon Palace's side. If the Eastly Undying dynasty tried to cause trouble for them, they would be finished. If he comes with the Dragon King to cause trouble, our Overlord sect will be in trouble too. Another elder said with a gloomy face. Calm down. The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace didn't come here to cause trouble on purpose. They don't have the ability to do so. The Overlord sect leader roared softly. The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace wouldn't be so stupid as to cause trouble here. The other experts of the Overlord sect had gloomy faces and didn't say anything else. Regardless of whether the Dragon Palace was here to send a congratulatory gift or something else, their Overlord sect would be affected if they were to stand with the Dragon King. It's the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, our benefactor. At this moment, the two Vice Alliance leaders of the Iron Blood Alliance who were sitting at the front were slightly stunned when they saw Wang Xian. Dragon King, how dare you come here? At this moment, a voice filled with killing intent rang out. On both sides of the Emperor God, the chairman of the Heaven Beast Corporation, the sect leader of the Heaven Tiger sect, the Hall leader of the Thousand Beast Hall, and Grandmaster Palea Beast were staring at Wang Xian with bloodshot eyes as they clenched their fists tightly. Send a gift? Hee, your Dragon Palace was so arrogant not long ago and asked us to hand over the 4 princes. Now they are sending a gift? Do you want to submit or beg for mercy? The Emperor God of the Eastly dynasty gestured to the 4 of them to calm down. He stared at Wang Xian and the rest, raised his head slightly and asked coldly. Submit and beg for mercy? Hee, we are not here to submit and beg for mercy. Wang Xian smiled when he heard his words. Dragon King, as an outsider, you have to honor the owner of this place. Otherwise, you will regret it. As soon as he finished his sentence, an old man at the side spoke to Wang Xian calmly. Oh! Wang Xian heard a voice from the right. He raised his eyebrows and turned to stare at him. Hee. The old man also looked at Wang Xian and smiled contemptuously. They were also a 4th-rate force and had the strength of a level 3 immortal king. Originally, their force had a very good relationship with the Eastly dynasty. At this moment, when he opened his mouth to speak, he was basically flattering them. However, this flattery was worth it. They were not afraid of the Dragon Palace either. In their opinion, the Dragon Palace was much weaker than the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. If they relied on the Eastly Dynasty, why would they be afraid of them? Dragon King, this is not a place where you can be impudent. That's right, why don't you take a look at what this place is? Just as the old man finished his words, a few voices echoed from the side. They were all powerhouses from 4th-rate forces. They stared at Wang Xian and the rest without any fear on their faces. I'm talking to the Eastly Immortal Emperor. You'd better shut up and don't bring fire upon yourself. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the various factions who had spoken. His eyes were filled with a cold, murderous intent. Arrogant. Arrogant fellow. When the few of them heard Wang Xian's words, their faces were filled with anger. Dragon King, looks like all of you are here to cause trouble. You are here to disrupt our celebration ceremony. On the stage, the Emperor of Dongli narrowed his eyes and stared at Wang Xian as he spoke coldly. It seems that Emperor Dongli, you are not stupid. Don't tell me that I am really here to send you a congratulatory gift? Wang Xian looked at him and shrugged his shoulders as he mocked him. Hua. Boom. Dragon King, you are courting death. As soon as Wang Xian finished his sentence, everyone from the Eastly Celestial Empire stood up with a loud bang. 200,000 to 300,000 soldiers on both sides locked onto Wang Xian. In an instant, their aura soared into the sky. The 4 chairmen of the Heaven Beast Corporation, who were suppressing their killing intent, erupted with a terrifying pressure. This is the Dragon Palace here to cause trouble? Are they here to cause trouble on purpose? What is the Dragon King trying to do? They are no match for the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. Everyone was slightly shocked as they watched the sudden change of events with some shock. This is bad. At the Overlord's position, the expressions of the warriors changed. The Dragon King and the others were really here to cause trouble. Invincible had followed them. This was totally trapping them in. Invincible, get your ass over here right now. An Overlord warrior couldn't help but shout at Invincible. He didn't dare to transmit his voice, as the stronger ones could sense it. This would cause the people of the Eastly Undying Dynasty to misunderstand. Invincible was stunned when he heard the leader's words. Elder, this is my invincible battle. It has nothing to do with the Overlord. He frowned and said directly, You are harming our Overlord. You don't even know life and death. Don't drag us down even if you want to die. The elder couldn't help but shout. No one dares to be impudent in the territory of our Eastly Immortal Empire. At this moment, the voice of the Eastly Immortal Emperor rang out. Boom boom boom. In the next moment, Immortal Kings surrounded Wang Xian and the rest. There were nearly 30 Immortal Kings locked onto them. Chapter 2486. 2486 2486 Dragon Palace vs. Eastly Dynasty 2. A towering aura rose up. In the Dian Square in front of the Eastly Dynasty Palace, the atmosphere instantly froze. Nearly 30 immortal godly monarchs of the Eastly Dynasty surrounded Wang Xian and the rest. Their auras locked onto them. The battle could erupt at any time. Hee. Wang Xian glanced at the immortal godly monarchs surrounding him and the rest. The corner of his mouth curled up slightly. Dragon King, the territory of the Eastly Immortal Empire is also a place where you can come and go as you please. Is it also a place where you can create trouble here? The Immortal King walked forward slowly and stared at Wang Xian with a cold gaze. At the same time, he had a thought. Behind him, an old man's eyes flickered and he immediately left quietly. Regarding the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, even if the Dragon King did not come this time, the Eastly Immortal Empire would still think of a way to capture him. Today, the Dragon King's arrival was completely out of his expectations. However, since he was here, there was no need to leave. If he left alone, he would immediately inform the Forefather. If he wanted to keep the Dragon King and his underlings, he would need the Eastly Dynasty's undying level 4 God King to suppress them. Shit, there might be a fight coming. On the Dian field, all the forces saw this scene and their expressions changed. Their pupils contracted and they stood up immediately. Some of the leaders immediately ordered their disciples to be on guard and ready to retreat. Damn it, what is this Dragon King trying to do? What is this invincible battle doing? The warriors of the Overlord sect saw this scene and their hearts jumped, their expressions ugly. If they were to cause trouble for the Overlord sect after destroying the Dragon Palace, what could the Overlord sect do to stop them? Their foundation that had existed for millions of years would be destroyed in an instant. This is... At the front, the two deputy chiefs of the Ironblood Alliance frowned slightly when they saw this scene. They looked at each other and stood up slowly. Stop! One of the deputy chiefs of the Ironblood Alliance shouted coldly and flew to the front of Wang Xian and the rest. They seemed to be from the Ironblood Alliance. Wang Xian was slightly stunned. When he saw the group of figures flying over, he raised his eyebrows slightly. Deputy chiefs, may I know who they are? At the front, the Emperor God's expression changed slightly. He looked at the two of them in puzzlement. Dragon King. The two of them ignored the Emperor God and landed in front of Wang Xian and the rest. They cupped their hands. Oh, you two vice presidents, right? Hello. Wang Xian looked at them and nodded slightly. Dragon King, are you in trouble? Don't worry, you are the benefactor of the Iron Blood Alliance. With us around, no one would dare to do anything to you in this area. A deputy chief said directly to Wang Xian. What? The Ironblood Alliance and the Eastly Immortal Dynasty are in cahoots? But this Ironblood Alliance has such a big tone. The Ironblood Alliance has never been involved in the affairs of various forces. The main reason they are here today is to support the Dragon Palace? I initially thought that they were invited by the Eastly Immortal Dynasty. I didn't expect that they are here to help the Dragon Palace. Is this the preparation that the Dragon Palace has long made? If the Ironblood Alliance supports the Dragon Palace, that's hard to say. After all, the Ironblood Alliance is one of the top in our region, and from their attitude just now, they were a little too enthusiastic. The Ironblood Alliance's sudden move shocked everyone. They all looked over. Ironblood Alliance, you all? At this moment, Eastly Emperor's pupils contracted, his expression extremely serious. Ironblood Alliance members, this is the grudge between our Eastly Undying God Dynasty and the Dragon Palace. It's not good for you to interfere, right? He said with a dark expression to the Ironblood Alliance members. We don't care about anything else. The Dragon Palace is our Ironblood Alliance's benefactor. The Dragon King's matter is our matter. Eastly God Dynasty, we still have to warn you, with our Ironblood Alliance here, you cannot touch the Dragon King Dragon Palace. The two Deputy Alliance Masters said without any mercy. Your Ironblood Alliance shouldn't go too far. Eastly Divine Emperor's expression started to change as he gritted his teeth and said in a low voice. Eastly Divine Emperor, they're an Ironblood Alliance. Do you think we're afraid of them? At the side, the four of them, the chairman of the Heaven Beast Corporation, saw the two Ironblood Deputy Alliance Masters' strong expressions, and their expressions changed slightly as they roared in a low voice. H&H, then why don't you ask the Eastly Celestial Empire if they dare to offend our Ironblood Alliance? The two Ironblood Alliance's vice presidents snorted lightly and raised their heads slightly to stare at everyone from the Eastly Celestial Empire, not putting them in their eyes at all. They had 3 Undying God King Level 4 experts, and their strength was much, much stronger than the Eastly Celestial Empire. This was also the reason why the Eastly Celestial Emperor was so warm to them and even somewhat respectful towards them. What? The experts of the Ironblood Alliance have such big words. Is the Ironblood Alliance stronger than the Eastly Divine Dynasty? It's really possible. Look at how embarrassed the Eastly Divine Emperor is. He didn't refute at all. The surrounding forces were shocked when they saw this scene. So, this is the reason why the Dragon Palace came today. Some people murmured. The experts from the Overlord sect heaved a sigh of relief. Everyone from the Ironblood Alliance, thank you for your kindness. Our Dragon Palace doesn't need. Wang Xian, who was standing at the side, was stunned. He didn't expect the Ironblood Alliance to stop the Eastly Dynasty directly. His congratulatory gift today was a war. There was no need for the Ironblood Alliance to make a move. Dragon King, our Ironblood Alliance can still help you with this matter. We will never forget your kindness. However, before Wang Xian could finish his sentence, the two Vice Alliance leaders interrupted him and waved their hands with a smile. Is the Ironblood Alliance really going to interfere in this matter? However, at this moment, a voice suddenly came from the sky. The warriors of the Eastly Undying Dynasty were shocked when they heard this voice. We pay our respects to Great Emperor. We pay our respects to Great Emperor. The group of Undying Emperors immediately bowed to a figure in the sky. The old man was incredibly tall and sturdy, holding a dragon head walking stick in his hand. He frowned as he looked at the Ironblood Alliance Deputy Alliance leaders. I'm sorry, the Dragon Palace has done the Ironblood Alliance a favor. The two Vice Alliance leaders looked at the old man and said, All right, help me send my regards to the 3 ancestors of the Ironblood Alliance. The old man clenched his fists and said softly to them, This. The expressions of the Eastly Undyings all changed. Their great emperor ancestor was submitting. The 3 ancestors of the Ironblood Alliance, do they have 3 undying level 4 warriors. Hiss, no wonder the Dragon Palace has such backing. The Dragon Palace is so arrogant, it's because of the Iron Blood Alliance. All the powers were shocked within, their faces filled with shock. HM? One of the Deputy Alliance leaders nodded. However, at this time, a communication stone tablet on his body shook as he scanned the contents. His expression changed. Chapter 2487. 2487 Dragon Palace vs. Eastly Dynasty 3. We've already informed the 2 Vice Alliance leaders. This time they'll head over to the Eastly Undying Dynasty. We can let them directly join forces with the Eastly Dynasty. We'll provide some support. Maybe in the end we won't even need to do anything, and the Dragon King will be killed. Okay, according to the information on the AI, the Dragon King and the Eastly Undying Dynasty have a grudge. The Dragon Palace isn't their match. There's a high chance they'll die at the hands of the Eastly Dynasty. Within the huge shrine on a planet of the Iron Blood Alliance, dozens of undying emperors sat at a round table. Their voices resounded throughout the shrine. As long as the Raging Flame Dynasty can help us solve the problem of the Luo-Man Desolate Beast Park, our Iron Blood Alliance will be the overlord of this region. At that time, even the Eastly Undying Dynasty will have to bow down to us. This matter is not a bad thing for us. In the middle, an undying level 4 God King said with a smile. The rest of the God Kings nodded, looking forward to their lives in the future. At this time, in the He-Dien Plaza in front of the Eastly Undying Empire, a Deputy Alliance leader of the Iron Blood Alliance had a drastic change in expression as he looked at the message sent by the Alliance leader. He glanced at Wang Xian and passed the communication stone plate to the other Deputy Alliance leader. This is the latest news. When the other Deputy Alliance leader saw the contents, his expression changed slightly. Everyone, if there's nothing else, please leave too. In the sky, Emperor Taizu looked at the 2 Deputy Alliance leaders of the Iron Blood Alliance and said expressionlessly, since the Iron Blood Alliance didn't give them any face today, there was no need for them to continue fawning over them. To think that the Dragon Palace actually relied on the Iron Blood Alliance to make the Eastly Dynasty lose face. The Iron Blood Alliance has 3 undying level 4 warriors, with them supporting the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace doesn't fear Eastly at all. When the surrounding powers saw this scene, their expressions changed. Who would have thought that the Iron Blood Alliance had power that was even stronger than the Eastly Dynasty? And the Dragon Palace had helped the Iron Blood Alliance. It was hard to say how the Dragon Palace would fight against the Eastly Undying Dynasty in the future. Wait, Eastly Emperor, Senior Emperor, I'm really sorry. The 2 Vice Alliance leaders exchanged glances and said to the Eastly Dynasty, 2 of you, we have received a notice from the Alliance Master and the 3 Patriarchs that we will not be involved in the feud between you and the Dragon Palace. If necessary, we can join forces with them. Then, a sentence was sent into the minds of the Eastly Divine Emperor and Great Emperor. The 2 of them directly transmitted the message through voice transmission. What is the Iron Blood Alliance doing? Great Emperor of the Eastly Dynasty frowned and said impatiently, it was our fault for what happened just now. In short, we can guarantee that we won't get involved in the feud between you and the Dragon Palace. The 2 deputy chiefs of the Iron Blood Alliance said solemnly, all right. The Easternly Celestial Emperor nodded immediately. Although he didn't know what the Iron Blood Alliance was up to, as long as they didn't interfere today, they would be able to keep the Dragon King here today. The entire He-Dien Square suddenly fell silent for a few seconds. The atmosphere was a little strange. Wang Xian did not sense the secret voice transmission from the 2 Vice Alliance leaders of the Iron Blood Alliance and Emperor of Eastly. However, Ao He and Ao Chiyin frowned slightly. Buzz. 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 Suddenly in the sky, the great ancestor of the Emperor of the Eastly Celestial Empire, the strongest expert of the Eastly Celestial Empire, suddenly waved his arm and numerous imprisonment rings were thrown out. The imprisonment rings shot directly at Wang Xian and the rest, enveloping all of them. Huh! The sudden change stunned Wang Xian slightly. Although it was a little out of his expectations for the Iron Blood Alliance to stand up for him, he thought that the Eastli dynasty would not dare to make a move. He did not expect a sudden attack. What happened? Haha, all the soldiers of the Eastli Immortal Dynasty get ready. Dragon King and the entire Dragon Palace dare to step into our territory, we'll make sure they never come back. Haha, Dragon King, arrogant, I'll let you continue to be arrogant. Do you think that just by relying on the Iron Blood Alliance you can fight us? You can make us lose face today? Indeed you can, but your calculations today have gone wrong. You can stay here today. In an instant, the imprisonment ring resounded with Eastli Emperor's excited laughter. Rumble. At the same time, his Emperor's aura, his undying level 3 aura exploded out. Hua hua hua. All the warriors and soldiers around were stunned when they heard the Emperor's words, however very quickly, weapons appeared in their hands. The terrifying aura pierced through the clouds, shocking everyone. What's going on? Why is the Eastli Undying Empire suddenly preparing to attack again? All the surrounding powers saw this scene and their expressions changed. Many warriors led their disciples and immediately retreated. In an instant, there were millions of people in the plaza. Almost all of the powers brought their disciples and retreated over 10 million kilometers. Their sharp gazes stared over. What's going on? The sudden change made everyone's expressions change. A few warriors couldn't help but howl. Their hearts were beating fiercely. Look, the two Vice Alliance leaders of the Iron Blood Alliance are suddenly standing behind the Eastli Undying Dynasty. The Iron Blood Alliance isn't going to help the Dragon Palace. All of a sudden, there was a scream. Everyone looked at the Iron Blood Alliance members, their eyes wide open. The arrival of Dragon Palace and the Iron Blood Alliance had made them believe that Dragon Palace had relied on the Iron Blood Alliance to get here. Now that the Iron Blood Alliance didn't care about Dragon Palace for some reason, now Dragon Palace is finished. A fourth-rate leader said in a loud voice, and many people could hear it clearly. Why did the Iron Blood Alliance suddenly break away from the Dragon Palace? Now, the Dragon Palace is really going to be finished. The experts of the other forces nodded slightly. Damn it. The Overlord Sect Master couldn't help but roar in a low voice. Things were out of his expectations, and there was a shackle ring floating above his head. This invincible warrior is simply courting death. But it's great now. I wonder if it will implicate us. Some of the Overlord Sect powerhouses could not help but speak out. Their expressions were extremely ugly. Oh! Wang Xian was still standing quietly in the middle. He looked at everyone from the Eastli Divine Empire who had suddenly erupted. He looked at the people from the Iron Blood Alliance who were standing behind them. Dragon King, Ao Crab and I sensed that the Iron Blood Alliance had sent a secret voice transmission to the Eastli Celestial Empire. It was the Iron Blood Alliance who spoke first. At this moment, Ao Chiyan, who was standing at the side, whispered to Wang Xian. Those who were weaker might not be able to sense the voice transmission when they were of the same level. However, Ao Crab, Ao Chiyan, and the other immortal godly king level 4 combat strength could still sense the voice transmission fluctuation. Although it's a little unexpected, it's good too. Hee, this is exactly what we want. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slightly. Chapter 2488 2488 Dragon Palace vs. Eastli Dynasty 4. Haha, Dragon King, you've killed all the disciples of our sect. Today, let's see where you can run to. Die. Haha, Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, let's see where you can run to this time. In Heidian Square, the sect master of the Heavenly Tiger sect and the hall master of the Wanshou Hall stared at Wang Xian and the rest with ferocious expressions. They laughed horribly. Today, they would be able to take revenge. In the future, as long as they knew the secret of the Dragon King, they would be able to rise up quickly. They would be even more glorious and powerful than before. The fact that you are here, Dragon King, is the greatest congratulatory gift to the four of us. The chairman of the Heavenly Beast Corporation was filled with an excited smile as he spoke slowly. His tone was filled with mockery. Kill the rest. Great Ancestor Huang, please capture that Dragon King too. The Easternly Celestial Emperor said to Great Ancestor Huang. Leave it to me. Great Ancestor Huang nodded his head faintly. He looked at Wang Xian and didn't put him in his eyes at all. Easternly Celestial Emperor, our Snow Sect is willing to fight for the Easternly Celestial Empire. Our Ling Tian Sect is also willing to fight for the Easternly Celestial Empire. Our Nine Heavens Immortal Celestial Empire is willing to fight for the Easternly Celestial Empire. At this moment, the three fourth-rate forces who had questioned Wang Xian immediately spoke up. Good. Prepare the soldiers of the Easternly Immortal Celestial Empire. Ha! Easternly Celestial Emperor laughed out loud in satisfaction and ordered loudly. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Howl, howl, howl. Close to 10 undyings flew out from the palace. At the same time, there were over 20 undyings flying out from the palace, soaring into the sky, giving off terrifying power. Hiss, over 20 battle pets, along with 40 undyings, my god. Crazy, this is a total of 60 undyings, along with the 34th level forces, this is over 70, close to 80. The undying war pet roared. The powerful aura released by the undying fighters caused the skies to change color. The warriors from all the forces looked at the undying fighters in shock, their faces filled with shock. Over 70 undying fighters, this power, who could withstand it? At this time, the Eastly Undying Dynasty gave off a sense of despair. Even the two Vice Alliance leaders of the Overlord sect were shocked when they saw this force. Damn! There are so many immortal kings. Boss Wang, I'm panicking. At this moment, Invincible looked at the imprisonment ring above his head and gulped as he spoke to Wang Xian. The current him was really panicking. Don't panic. I'll hand it over to 10 level 1 immortal kings to you later. The corners of Wang Xian's mouth curled up slightly. When he saw that all the powerhouses from the Eastly dynasty were basically in position, his face was filled with smiles. Very good, very good. The Eastly Immortal Dynasty. Do you know that our Dragon Palace has been waiting for this moment? Haha. Wang Xian looked at them laughing maniacally and couldn't help but laugh as well. Sky changing. He roared the last 2 rounds. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The moment he finished his sentence, the entire sky suddenly trembled. The sky had changed. Ha! Wang Xian's sudden maniacal laughter and roar stunned everyone. Why was he shouting at this moment? Your Dragon Palace is relying on the Ironblood Alliance. Now that the Ironblood Alliance is ignoring all of you, what else do you have to rely on? Buzz, buzz, buzz. However, at this moment, all the forces discovered that the sky had suddenly changed. Black holes appeared out of thin air in this space. The surroundings were completely enveloped. Even the forces that had retreated more than 1,000 kilometers were completely sealed inside. Black holes disturbed the air. Large-scale black holes disturbed the air. They were formed by dozens of black hole disturbing array formations. This black hole disturbance formation covered over half of the main city of the Eastly God dynasty. At this moment, the sky darkened, terrifying black holes stood in space, making the entire world look extremely terrifying. At this moment, everyone changed slightly. What's the situation? Everyone's pupils shrank as they looked up and surveyed their surroundings. All the powerhouses of the Eastly Celestial Empire also changed their expressions slightly. It's that formation. It's the formation that can trap the immortal godly monarch. A low roar came out from the mouth of the chairman of the Heaven Beast Corporation. The Eastly godly monarch and the rest suddenly had a bad premonition in their hearts. Haha, members of the Dragon Palace, fight. Wang Xian roared loudly. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. In the next moment, buildings broke apart in all directions. The powerhouses of the Dragon Palace surrounded the Hedian Square. 100,000 powerhouses of the Dragon Palace had summoned the Dragon Palace after Wang Xian and the rest had entered planet Dongli. 100,000 members were scattered around the area. They were waiting for this moment of battle. Although the appearance of the Iron Blood Alliance had wasted some time, it was not too late now. And it allowed him to see things clearly. Hiss, the Dragon Palace has already set up their subordinates around. Look, the leaders in front are all Undyings. There are many Undyings in the Dragon Palace too. At this time, all the powers far away from the center saw the 100,000 members of the Dragon Palace appear, their faces filled with shock. Warning! Any force that dares to break the formation and destroy the planet shall be exterminated. Wang Xian instantly floated in the sky and warned all the forces. His cold voice struck everyone's mind. You are courting death. How dare you gang up on us? In the sky, when he saw the huge change in the sky and the sudden appearance of so many experts from the Dragon Palace, the expression of the great ancestor of the Easternly Celestial Empire changed slightly. His gaze locked onto Wang Xian. A long saber appeared in his hand and instantly attacked him. Roar, 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 you dare to attack our Dragon King? Ask our members of the Dragon Palace if they agree. He saw the attack of the great ancestor of the Easternly Celestial Empire. He let out a wild roar and transformed into a devouring dragon that was about 11,000 meters long. The terrifying dragon aura attacked him. Roar, roar, roar. At the same time, endless roars came from their bodies. His body was like a black hole as terrifying devouring dragons flew out from his body. Similarly, a level 4 Undying Godly King level devouring dragon flew out from his body and attacked the great ancestor of the Eastly dynasty. In addition, with 12 level 3 Undying Godly King devouring dragons, they led a group of 20,000 Godlord level devouring dragons towards Wang Xian. They landed heavily behind Wang Xian and the rest, and their endless aura shook the world. What? 2 level 4 Undying Godly King warriors. In the sky, he and the other devouring dragons surrounded him with law fragments, preventing him from attacking the black hole array. The Eastly dynasty emperor roared in shock. Chapter 2489. 2489 2489 Dragon Palace vs. Eastly God Dynasty 5. 2 Undying Level 4 warriors, how is this possible? When the Eastly Emperor's roar resounded, the surrounding Eastly Undying warriors all paused, their faces filled with disbelief. 2 Undying Level 4 warriors. The warriors scattered around, all of them squinted, opening their mouths and staring in shock. Just now, the Dragon King had warned them that if anyone dared to attack the array, they would destroy the entire planet. At that time, many of the powers were still looking down on them and were slightly unhappy. Now with the appearance of 2 Undying Level 4 warriors, their unhappiness vanished completely. 2 Undying Level 4 warriors, how can the Dragon Palace be so strong? The strength they unleash is getting more and more terrifying. Just these 2 Undying Level 4 warriors alone can cause the Eastly dynasty to suffer heavy losses. A leader of a force said with a shocked expression. Not just the 2 Level 4 Undyings, look at the terrifying creatures beside the Dragon King, the 12 leading, they all have Level 3 strength, a total of 12. At this time, someone noticed the 12 Undyings swallowing dragons that came out of Xie's body. These devouring dragons all had the combat strength of a Level 3 Undying God King. Hiss, the Eastly Undying God Dynasty itself has 5 Level 3 Undying God King warriors, along with the 4 of them from the Heaven Beast group, along with the leaders of the 3 fourth-rate forces, they only have 12 Level 3 Undying God King warriors. Level 3 Undying God King combat strength. The Dragon Palace is the same as the Eastly Dynasty. The other Dragon Palaces also have quite a few Undying God Kings. This is not weaker than the Eastly Dynasty at all, it might even be stronger. At the edge of the battlefield, The powerhouses from the various factions were muttering to themselves as they calculated the strength of the Dragon Palace and the Eastly dynasty. They looked at the powerhouses from the Dragon Palace in shock. The strength of the Dragon Palace had completely exceeded their expectations. Eastly dynasty, do you think our Dragon Palace is relying on the Iron Blood Alliance? They are not qualified to be relied on by us. All members of the Dragon Palace, kill. Wang Xian looked at all the experts of the Eastly Celestial Empire who were filled with shock and let out a wild roar. Damn it, don't be afraid. Great Ancestor Huang blocked those 2 Immortal King Level 4 experts. The rest of you, kill them for me. Eastly Celestial Emperor gritted his teeth and roared with a gloomy face. The strength that the Dragon Palace had displayed was not something they could defeat. It was impossible for them to win today's battle. After all, the Dragon Palace had 2 more Level 4 Undying Godly Monarch experts. Kill them all. The few Level 3 Undying Godly Monarch experts from the Eastly Celestial Empire roared with blood-red eyes. Roar, roar, roar. Leave these dozen Level 3 Undying Godly Monarch experts to me. A roar came from beside Wang Xian. An incomparably huge figure covered in blood-red dragon scales slowly emerged. He had an ape-like face, a pair of blood-red dragon horns, and his entire body was wrapped in blood-red energy. He was holding a metal rod with blood-red chains wrapped around it. The violent aura charged towards a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers. Howl! He raised the metal rod in his hand and locked onto the surrounding 12 undying Level 3 warriors. The violent energy caused everyone to be shocked. Another undying Level 4 warrior. At this moment, a terrified howl came from an undying Level 3 warrior. He stared wide-eyed, his face filled with fear as he stared at Ao Chi Tian who was attacking them. This incomparably violent power made them tremble. How is this possible? How can you have so many Level 4 undying fighters? The Eastly dynasty's body trembled at this moment as they roared out. Roar! However, what responded to them was the terrifying ocean-stabilizing needle. No, no, no! At this time, the leaders of Snow Sect, Ling Tian Sect, and the Nine Heavens Undying Dynasty were all stunned. When they saw 2 Level 4 Undying Godly Monarch warriors appear in the Dragon Palace, their hearts trembled violently. Now that they saw another Level 4 Undying Godly Monarch warrior appear in the Dragon Palace, their faces were filled with fear. They had vowed to fight the Dragon Palace together with the Eastly Immortal Dynasty, and now that the Dragon Palace had displayed its strength, it made them feel fear and despair. Even if they could escape this time, they would have to face a devastating blow from the Dragon Palace. How can this be? How can the Dragon Palace be so strong? How can it be? Seeing the terrifying blood-red law energy attacking them, their eyes turned blood-red. They gritted their teeth and roared as they faced Ao Chi Tian's attack. Undying King Level 2, leave it to us, the Devouring Dragons. At this time, behind Wang Xian, the 12 Devouring Dragons roared and moved, attacking the rest of the Undying King Level 2 warriors. The 12 Undying King Level 3 Devouring Dragons, against the group of Undying King Level 2 warriors, they were completely crushed. Their bodies moved and the terrifying law energy swept out. All the surrounding warriors from the Eastly Undying Empire were filled with despair. Leave it to me, 10 Undying Level 1 warriors. I, Invincible, will kill 10 Undying Level 1 warriors today. Standing beside Wang Xian, Invincible revealed a burning look in his eyes as he saw this scene. He laughed maniacally in excitement. Roar, roar, roar. At the next moment, a Level 2 Immortal King Battle Pet appeared beneath him. At the same time, on Invincible's body, a substantial law surrounded him. Kill them, Invincible's gaze landed on Snow Sect, Ling Tian Sect, and the group of Level 1 Immortal King warriors from the Nine Heavens Immortal Dynasty. He ordered the battle pet beneath him. Roar, roar, roar. The Level 2 Immortal King battle pet roared. A savage aura shot out from its body and directly attacked the 10 level 1 immortal king warriors. Kill! Wang Xian saw that the battle had already erupted. He raised his arm and roared. Kill! A cold, killing intent resounded throughout the sky. All the members of the Dragon Palace started to move. In an instant, their energy completely crushed the East Ally undying country. Shit, leader, save us. Run, run, run. Not good, I can't return to my undying country. The battle erupted. The 3 fourth-rate warriors from the Snow Sect saw the unrivaled warrior riding his level 2 undying war pet attacking and lost their bearings. They howled in fear. At this time, they also knew that this strange space could prevent them from escaping back to their undying countries. In other words, they could only fight to the death, not flee. Chapter 2490. 2490. The 2490 God Dynasty was destroyed. If you want to escape, don't even think about it. Just now, with your little organization, you still dared to act so arrogantly towards the Dragon King. You don't know what you are, just wait for your destruction. Do you regret it later? Do you regret it later? Unfortunately, it's too late now. Invincible stood proudly on the battle pet. With a movement of his arm, a sharp sword appeared in his hand. Ping ping ping. Ah! The terrifying attack of the battle pet, along with his powerful attack, instantly 2 undying level 1 warriors were hit, instantly being heavily injured and sent flying backwards. Shit, we aren't even a match for that battle pet. That youth is actually an undying level 1 warrior. A terrified voice came from the 3 warriors of the Snow Clan, their faces filled with despair. At this moment, they even hated their leader for participating in this battle. If they hadn't participated, they wouldn't have been attacked by such a terrifying warrior from the Dragon Palace. In fact, they might even have to pay with their lives. Flee, flee, we have to flee. The other 8 undying level 1 warriors lost their fighting spirit and scattered in all directions. If you want to flee, I'll let you all escape. My invincible battle technique won't be able to survive anymore. Invincible battle technique saw them fleeing in fear, his face filled with mockery. Howl, howl. His battle pet let out roars. As an undying level 2 battle pet, it was easy to deal with an undying level 1. At least a few first level undyings would be able to deal with an undying level 2. Blade slash. Invincible immediately raised his blade and slashed forward. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Solid laws slashed at the group in front, tearing through the space. Invincible his strength, he has reached the undying Emperor realm. How is this possible? Invincible has actually reached the undying Emperor realm. At this time, at the edge of the black hole, the people from the Overlord sect saw Invincible standing above his battle pet and killing in all directions, their faces filled with disbelief. Seeing the terrifying attack he unleashed, everyone's faces were filled with shock. The entire Overlord sect was clear about his invincible battle techniques. Eternal God Lord level 5, he was extremely talented. In the entire greater world, he was extremely powerful. But now, he actually unleashed undying Emperor strength. How was that possible? There was a limit to how much he could be a genius. This was heaven-defying. Everyone's eyes were dazed. Was this real or fake? Hiss, sect leader Mu Rong. How did your disciple reach the undying God King realm so quickly? How is this possible? Beside him, the warriors from the Heavenly Law sect looked at sect leader Ba and asked in shock. I'm not sure either. Sect leader Ba's eyes were filled with shock as well. He shook his head and stared at his disciple. Invincible battle technique has reached the undying God King realm before he's even 1,000 years old. He has the potential of an emperor. Heavenly Law sect leader opened his mouth slightly. The potential of an emperor. Hearing these words, the warriors of Overlord sect trembled. Just now, they were worried that invincible battle technique would drag them down. There were even a few people who were extremely dissatisfied with their invincible battle techniques. Now, their dragon palace had erupted with invincible strength, and their invincible battle techniques had displayed the strength of an undying god king. Thinking about the dissatisfaction and scolding towards their invincible battle techniques during this period of time, the faces of the few experts turned pale. The emperor's talent could be called the emperor's talent, but one had the chance to become a void god emperor. Originally, the Heavenly Law sect leader did not have the qualifications to evaluate a person who had the talent of an emperor. However, he had reached the undying god king realm at the age of less than 1,000 years. Indeed, he had the talent of an emperor. He did not need anyone to evaluate him to have the qualifications. My disciple's combat techniques are unrivaled and he has the talent of an emperor. Overlord sect leader also roared with excitement. Order all battle pets to risk their lives. Even if they have to risk their lives, they have to replace a person from the Dragon Palace. At this time, the battle erupted and the Eastly God dynasty was instantly at a disadvantage. The emperor roared with an extremely ugly expression. In front of the Eastly God Palace, the 23 war pets had yet to attack. Attack, attack. Under the emperor's orders, the owners of the war pets immediately gave the order to attack. Howl, howl, howl. A series of violent roars came out from the mouths of the 23 war pets. The 23 immortal god king war pets were charging at the powerhouses of the Dragon Palace in a frenzy. With 23 immortal god king war pets attacking, the pressure on the Eastly dynasty should be reduced a little. Some people muttered when they saw more than 20 immortal god king war pets attacking. Hee hee. Wang Xian looked at the group of war pets flying over with a mocking expression on his face. These war pets were all bought from his Dragon Palace's war pet shop. They were all tamed by him. Roar. Wang Xian raised his head and let out a dragon's roar. A wave of dragon's might directly covered the 23 war pets. Roar, roar, roar. The group of war pets trembled and shook their bodies in panic. They lowered their heads and didn't dare to continue attacking. What's going on? All war pets. When the Easternly Celestial Emperor and the rest saw the war pets suddenly stopping their attacks, panic appeared on their faces as they shouted sternly. Easternly Celestial Empire, do you think that my Dragon Palace didn't guard against you? When you bought the war pets, I did something to it. Wang Xian looked at them mockingly. It was just an excuse from Wang Xian to prevent the other buyers from thinking that the war pets from the Dragon Palace's war pet shop could be recalled easily. Roar. Just as he finished his sentence, the 23 war pets swayed and landed in front of the Divine Palace. They lay on the ground motionlessly. When the Easternly Celestial Emperor saw this scene, his expression changed drastically. His eyes were filled with despair. It's over. When the rest of the warriors saw this, their hearts sank, their faces ashen. The number of Dragon Palace undyings far exceeded their imaginations. With over 20 battle pets defending, it could reduce their pressure. And now the battle pets had been tampered with, lying on the ground and not attacking. With the power of the Dragon Palace, they were completely suppressed. The Eastly Undying Empire is about to lose. It's impossible for them to win this battle. I didn't expect the Dragon Palace to have already predicted this. Right now the Eastly Undying Empire is lacking over 20 undyings. The surrounding crowd saw all the battle pets lying on the ground without attacking. They said softly. So south. Right at this time, a huge silhouette suddenly flew in their direction. Everyone was slightly shocked. However, they soon realized that 5 huge and ferocious figures were flying towards their direction, the sky above them, and the other 3 directions. They had completely sealed off the surroundings to prevent anyone from destroying the formation. These 5 figures were the 5 level 3 Immortal King Realm experts from the Dragon Palace. The 12 level 3 Immortal King Realm experts from the Dragon Palace couldn't do anything to them given the current situation. Wang Xian ordered the 5 level 3 Immortal King level Devouring Dragons to guard the area and prevent anyone from destroying the formation. Boom, 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 boom. Anyone who is not from the Eastly dynasty is not allowed to get close to the formation. No one from the Eastly dynasty can destroy the formation. The 5 devouring dragons looked at everyone coldly and roared with a stern face. What is this? They are going to wipe out the Easternly dynasty in one go. Not only will the Easternly dynasty be defeated, they might even be wiped out. Without more than 20 war pets, they will be even more vulnerable. Everyone was shocked. Chapter 2491. 2491 China was being destroyed. In the air ahead, the emperor was being held back by 2 experts from the Dragon Palace, trapping him within a 100 kilometers radius. Below, an Undying King level 4 expert from the Dragon Palace was attacking the 12 type 3 Undying Kings. The 12 experts did not have the ability to resist. In just a few minutes, 3 had already fallen. Furthermore, facing the ferocious attack of the Dragon Palace warrior, the Eastly dynasty Undying level 3 warriors didn't even have the ability to fight back. Even Undying level 3 warriors didn't have the ability to fight back, let alone the others. The 5 Undying level 3 warriors from the Dragon Palace stood guard around the formation. All the powers watched in awe. At this moment, no one dared to provoke the Dragon Palace. Kill, kill, kill. Below, there were 100,000 eternal godlords and above, of which 3,000 were pinnacle godlords. 100,000 disciples against 200,000 to 300,000 Eastly dynasty godlords. The difference in numbers was 1 to 2 times. However, under the battle formation of 100,000 Dragon Palace warriors, every second, thousands of eternal godlords were killed by the Dragon Palace warriors, a one-sided massacre. At this time, the Eastly Undying dynasty and the Dragon Palace were on completely different levels. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Below, rumbling sounds could be heard as large areas of the Eastly Undying Palace collapsed. The screams of undying godly monarchs could be heard from time to time. No, 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 how can this be? Great Ancestor Huang, break the formation, break the formation, break the formation, and our people of the Eastly dynasty will be able to escape. At this moment, the Eastly Divine Emperor swept his gaze across the surroundings. He watched as godly monarchs fell one after another. He watched as the experts of the Eastly Celestial dynasty were quickly killed. His eyes were filled with fury as he roared. At this moment, all he wanted to do was escape. Get lost. In the sky, the Eastly Divine Emperor's great ancestor's eyes were blood-red as he bombarded He and the other devouring dragon. Chiyan, speed up, we can't hold on much longer. Chi and the other devouring dragon relied on their 10,000-meter bodies to completely trap them within. Seeing the Eastly dynasty great ancestor trying to break free, Chi immediately roared at Chiyan. The moment he broke free, he could destroy the Black Hole Disturbance Array. After all, the Black Hole Disturbance Array could only trap Undying Level 3 warriors. Level 4 it could be easily broken through. All right, 30 seconds. Howl, howl, howl. Tian immediately nodded, roaring towards the sky. Wa la la la. The next moment, on the ocean pacifying needle in his hand, a blood-red chain formed from the laws spread out in all directions. The terrifying chain was like a terrifying venomous snake, instantly spreading over a 100 million kilometers radius. In an instant, he enveloped the Eastly Emperor group of level 3 Undyings. Even many other Undyings were engulfed. Chains, mad dragon piercing. Tian roared madly, the sky full of chains headed towards the Eastly Empire warriors. Not good. Shit, what move is this? When the sky full of chains covered a 100 million kilometers area, the entire Eastly Empire city was covered. The terrifying blood-red chains were all 4 to 5 meters thick. Defend. Eastly God roared madly with his blood-red eyes. Ka ka ka. However, their law defense was instantly destroyed under the attack of the mad dragon chains. The mad dragon that unleashed its full strength, its attack power was definitely terrifying. Ping ping ping. The two chains came before an undying emperor, immediately wrapping around him. The terrifying power directly wrapped around his body. Screams began to ring out. No, no, no. The undying Emperor Level 3 warriors were filled with despair. They were undying emperors, top existences in this region. Yet now they were actually facing death. I can't accept this, I can't accept this. Dragon Palace, why are you all so strong, why? The Easternly Celestial Emperor was bound by the chains and his face was completely drained of blood as he roared crazily. Their Easternly Celestial Empire was the overlord of this region. And now they were actually facing destruction. Die! Ao Chitian let out a furious roar as the chains in his hands covered the entire area. Bang! Soon, a corpse fell from the chains to the ground below. Chitian, make your move and destroy the rest of the people from the Easternly Celestial Empire. Wang Xian stood in the void and didn't move. He didn't need to make a move in this war. He swept his gaze in the direction of the great ancestor of the Easternly Celestial Empire and gave an indifferent order to Ao Chitian. It's the Dragon King. Ao Chitian let out a furious roar. His towering figure looked down at everyone around him. It's over. I surrender. Our snow sect surrenders. I beg the Dragon King to let us off. We are willing to surrender. Don't kill us. Don't kill us. When everyone sensed that the experts of the Easternly Celestial Emperor had been killed, the rest of them trembled. Their fighting spirit had collapsed. Their fighting spirit had vanished. Some of the experts could not help but beg for mercy from Wang Xian and the rest. It's too late to surrender now. Walala! The wild dragon chains swept across. The terrifying violent law energy swept across the void and turned all of them into corpses. With Ao Chitian taking action, the immortal deity king died at a terrifying speed. No, no. Everyone in the Eastly dynasty was in despair. At this time, many of them gave up on the battle and fled madly. There were even some who stood there dazed, their eyes lifeless. Death was increasing at 10 times the speed. This also meant that the Eastly Undying dynasty was slowly heading towards destruction. An existence that had stood in this region for over 10 million years was collapsing. Rumble. This has already exceeded our expectations. On the side, the two Vice Alliance leaders stood there, looking ahead in shock. His mouth was dry, he couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Ahead, there were 60 to 70 Dragon Palace Undyings and 3 Undying Level 4 warriors. This power was even stronger than the Iron Blood Alliance. The Raging Flame Empire wants us to destroy that Dragon King now. The two Iron Blood Alliance vice leaders exchanged glances, their eyes filled with worry. Just now, we've already offended that Dragon King. Do you think he'll leave us here too? Suddenly, a vice leader spoke, his eyes gleaming. The other vice leader's heart sank, his gaze sweeping the surroundings. Should we? He spoke and gestured at the surrounding arrays. The other deputy alliance leader frowned, gritting his teeth, nodding heavily. One. However, at this time, he felt many gazes looking over. Shit. Seeing several terrifying Dragon Palace members staring at them at the same time, their hearts sank, they had a bad feeling. Chitian, go help Ao Xie. Today, I want the Eastly Undying dynasty to be completely destroyed. I want them to completely disappear from this space. Right at this time, a proud voice resounded. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.